Zygor Guides, Gamer Advantage, NordVPN, Glitch Energy, Streamlabs, and is proud to support our partnered charity, Safe in Our World.
Power level your characters, make lots of gold, and accomplish more in World of Warcraft with Zygor Guides. Our guides are unique in that they use a custom guide viewer add-on to display things right inside the game. Every guide is presented in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step format that tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, which quests to accept, how to complete quest objectives, and more, all in the most efficient manner to get more done in less time. Since the guides are in-game, they can dynamically detect your progress, update in real time, and automatically skip forward as you complete steps. Finding your way around couldn't be easier thanks to our custom waypoint arrow that works like an in-game GPS, generating the fastest directions to your next location, factoring in every method of travel including flight paths, items, portals, and more. You'll no longer find yourself wondering where to go or what to do next ever again. The guides also include numerous additional features to speed things up even more, like auto-accepting and turning in quests, highlighting the best quest rewards, notifying you when you have new gear upgrades, pointing where you need to fly to on your map, auto-selling gray items, and more. We offer guides for virtually every aspect of the game, including leveling, dungeons, dailies, professions, collectibles, and achievements. Discover all the latest content with our new Featured section, which showcases all the new guides added in every patch and expansion with detailed explanations on how it all works. Or search our entire collection to find a guide for almost anything you want to do. All of our guides have been fully updated for Dragonflight, and new content is being added all the time. Sign up for Zygor Elite and gain instant access to our full suite of guides for both retail and classic WoW for one low monthly fee. As part of Zygor Elite, you'll receive ongoing weekly updates for new patches, future expansions, and seasonal events, as well as general fixes and improvements to make sure all content stays current and well optimized for any changes Blizzard makes. Take your gaming to the next level with Zygor Guides.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's fly. Pack up, let's fly away.
Who took the bomb?
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow taunting me. from below. The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle?
Hello and welcome to Starship's MDY, where 5 teams battle it out to see how far they can push with custom affixes in the Mythic Plus dungeons. As always, I am joined by the wonderful Ko. Ko, how are you doing? You excited for tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Zippy spent a lot of time making all these affixes work, so I'm excited to see what they will come up with and any solutions that they have on offer.
Exactly. So before we do begin, I want to thank our sponsors, Blizzard and Zygor, who are premium sponsors for tonight. And we're going to have a wonderful roller coaster, I'm sure. I've heard from a couple of the teams that potentially a fiesta might happen, which is always a good thing to hear. Ko, talking about these affixes, what are the affixes that you're most looking forward to? And I think we'll bring them up in just a moment here.
Yeah, I think probably the one I'm looking forward to the most would be the one they're calling Omen of Uncertainty, which is basically that you have to just keep making sure that no casts go off, because I think that changes how you're going to do some of these pulls and what the, let's say, meta, even though obviously this is a fun event, would be. So the idea is obviously that for those of you who don't know, which is everyone because we've never done it before, if you don't interrupt a cast, then all nameplates are covered for 10 seconds, so you can't see any other cast coming, which I think is a really interesting idea, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. Although obviously I think probably the most memey one would be the one that they're calling the Vision of the Illidari, or Blindfold.
Okay, so we're going to have a more of a full breakdown of those in just a moment. But of course, tonight is not just about having fun, although that is definitely a thing people are going for. We want to win prizes, lots and lots of prizes. We've got some prizes up for grabs here. We're going to bring them up now. We'll start with 2nd and 3rd place prizes. Right, let's go 3rd place. Cataclysm Classic Epic Edition, some BlizzCon collection goodies, and then the heroic edition of The War Within. Ko, talk to me about this prize here. Is this something that you would want?
Do I want to come 3rd? No, come on. I don't want to come 3rd.
Exactly.
It's cool,
yeah.
but no, let's keep going.
Okay, 2nd place. We've got the Epic Edition of Cataclysm, all those goodies, but you'll get the Epic Edition of The War Within. And I believe, Ko, that comes with that 3-day early access.
Well, it's all about getting early, isn't it? If you
Yeah,
finish first
exactly.
and all of this. Let's see what's happening first. This is exciting.
Okay, go on, give us first. First place is the BlizzCon collections. You've got 6 months of Zygor Elite. We want to thank Zygor for giving that. That's going to be amazing because it does spill over into the War Within. You get a canvas print, which is pretty cool. Have that above your bed or in front of your bed. Have a great time. And then you've got the Epic Edition of both the War Within and Cataclysm. So, Ko, what do you think about this whole spread?
I think that is like Hedwig's gangster cousin on like the Tyrande canvas print, don't you think? It's like
Hedwig's gangster cousin.
Look how like evil that owl looks.
Yeah,
it's like you've come to the wrong neighborhood, but like,
exactly.
Forest edition.
But Forest Edition. Now, those that didn't know, Ko has a cat, and before the stream, Ko's cat was looking at me just like that owl. So Yeah, you definitely want that up on your wall. Now, of course, all these prizes are up for grabs. How the point system works is you will receive 2 points for doing a +2 Mythic Plus. That's where you've got to begin. And every dungeon after that, that you go up higher, +3, +4, +5, they correspond to how many points you get. You've got 3 hours to do as many dungeons and get as many points as you can. So these teams are really going to go balls to the wall, balls to the wall.
No, but you want me to say to balls to the wall? Yeah, they are. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's have a look at these affixes. I'm sure we've got a couple to throw up on the screen now. So we can have a detailed look. We're going to start here with Curse of the Gods. This is Azure Vault and Neltharis. So the void is drawn to your power, inflicting madness upon you as you use your abilities. So you're being punished for using skills. Okay, interesting, going to be juicy. The more spells you cast during each combat generates an increasing number of tentacles on your screen. Ko, what do you think about the tentacles?
You're setting me up today, aren't you? No, I mean, tentacles are always a bit of fun, as we know from... no, it should be cool. And this is a really interesting way of playing that you should really try to use the more impactful stuff or save what you're using. You can either use it in one window or split it out over a more controlled period of time. So I think it will be interesting to see how they play around with it, if this really does block them at, at higher levels of keys, or if it would just be something that they can deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ko, let us know about the vision.
The vision, okay, let me read it out to you. So, Halls of Infusion and Knockard, the recent rise of Demon Hunters' popularity has left you wondering what you could gain from studying their ways. Let's just remove them from the game, let's be honest. Wearing the blindfold is not yet easy for you, making it difficult to see when you are in a tough spot. I butchered that, I'm very sorry. The lower your health, the more the blindfold of the Illidari covers your screen. The effect caps at 10% HP, so right down at the bottom there. And the blindfold really is pretty obnoxious, I have to say. In a good way, of course.
In a good way. So these are just 2 of the great affixes. We've got a couple more to show you. We'll show you these just before we begin. So if we can go on to the next couple here. In combat or suffer the blinding effect of the light. Okay. When you leave combat, you start a timer that triggers increasing light until a few seconds after entering combat. So you've got to stay in combat, Ko. And you like fighting, right? You don't like breaks. So this would be good for you.
Yeah, just, press W to win. That's what W stands for, right?
Right, yes. W stands for win. And as we all know, the correct key bindings for any movement in any game is QWE. So we'll come back to that later, I'm sure. Talk to us about Omen, Ko.
No, I'd rather talk to QWE.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard of ESDF before, but
ESDF.
QWE, of moving everything over, so you don't have WASD, but then you move it over one, so you have more access to easier binds. But what QWE?
Because then you have access to ASD. I learned this from if anyone knows the healer Sidu. He uses ASD to target his party frames in PvP. A little bit of lore there. Yeah. And as Zippy says in chat, QWES gang. Yeah, exactly.
With the S though as well, so he's back.
Yes. Yeah. I did unbind it, but as a tank, I know he is. He'll keep it there.
Okay. Omen of Uncertainty anyway. Dungeons of Brackenhide Hollow and Ruby Life Pools. Ruby Life Pools making a comeback. Through the Bronze Dragons, you have seen what's to come, but seeing too many timelines renders you doubtful of incoming events. Once an enemy finishes a cast, your nameplates will be covered for 10 seconds as you become uncertain of what is to come. Interrupting an ability successfully grants immunity to this effect for 10 seconds, feeling ensured of the current timeline.
So I have a question about this. Of course, as a healer, this is going to be horrific. And it's going to rely on our teammates interrupting, which, as we all know, doesn't happen. So I'm very curious to see what this is going to come out with. And yeah, I think this is really cool. We have a whole bunch of new affixes, which we are going to put out here toward everyone, and they're going to have a great time. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a fiesta, Ko. absolute fiesta. And we're going to get in it very, very soon. I think the teams are about to get ready. Our producer will pop up on the screen our first round of dungeons.
The Starship World of Warcraft community is proudly supported by Blizzard Entertainment, Zygor Guides, Gamer Advantage, NordVPN, Glitch Energy, Streamlabs, and is proud to support our partnered charity, Safe in Our World.
Power level your characters, make lots of gold, and accomplish more in World of Warcraft with Zygor Guides. Our guides are unique in that they use a custom guide viewer add-on to display things right inside the game. Every guide is presented in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step format that tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, which quests to accept, how to complete quest objectives, and more, all in the most efficient manner to get more done in less time. Since the guides are in-game, they can dynamically detect your progress, update in real time, and automatically skip forward as you complete steps. Finding your way around couldn't be easier thanks to our custom waypoint arrow that works like an in-game GPS, generating the fastest directions to your next location, factoring in every method of travel including flight paths, items, portals, and more. You'll no longer find yourself wondering where to go or what to do next ever again. The guides also include numerous additional features to speed things up even more, like auto-accepting and turning in quests, highlighting the best quest rewards, notifying you when you have new gear upgrades, pointing where you need to fly to on your map, auto-selling gray items, and more. We offer guides for virtually every aspect of the game, including leveling, dungeons, dailies, professions, collectibles, and achievements. Discover all the latest content with our new Featured section, which showcases all the new guides added in every patch and expansion with detailed explanations on how it all works. Or search our entire collection to find a guide for almost anything you want to do. All of our guides have been fully updated for Dragonflight, and new content is being added all the time. Sign up for Zygor Elite and gain instant access to our full suite of guides for both retail and classic WoW for one low monthly fee. As part of Zygor Elite, you'll receive ongoing weekly updates for new patches, future expansions, and seasonal events, as well as general fixes and improvements to make sure all content stays current and well optimized for any changes Blizzard makes. Take your gaming to the next level with Zygor Guides.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's fly, let's fly. Pack up, let's fly away.
Here, take the bomb.
See you later.
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow taunting me from below. The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle lies deep within.
NordVPN not only encrypts your traffic and changes your IP address, but also has tons of other top VPN features that give you maximum protection. VPN can sometimes be vital, especially if you operate in countries with low internet freedom index or restricted freedom of speech. In such situations, your online actions can lead to fines or even imprisonment. Meet Double VPN. It brings the benefits of enhanced security, complete privacy, and double encryption, making it twice as hard for attackers to decipher your online data. For your everyday needs,
Back. We're back. We're back in Action Co. It feels good, and we've already been hit by an affix, one of the blinding light affixes. This is crazy. Do you think you'd be able to get through this?
No, I can't really get through them without this kind of thing. So this is amazing for me that they can even do this. I believe this is Algathar from what we can see. Oh, they've managed to get rid of the flashbang as we move on to halfway through this boss.
Yeah, exactly. They've got rid of that flashbang, and of course this is the MDY. Sorry, we had a little bit of a snafu there, but it's okay. We're back. We're back in action, and we're on a quite a challenging boss. The higher up we go at the moment, it's pretty simple for these teams, but the affix is something that they need to contend with. it looks like they have wiped it off and they're just killing the boss as usual. So they're doing pretty well here. Now, this is the team Roast, I believe, Roast. We've got some fun team names, Co. What's your favorite?
I guess Roast has to be my favorite because they have the custom T-shirts made, which hopefully we will get a chance to see their lovely shirts, much like my lovely shirt, at some point later in the stream. We can try and find some pictures of those for you. But I do find it interesting actually that these guys are going not to the right but to the left with these balls, which seems quite a interesting tactic at a low key level because they're all starting with +2s, aren't they?
Exactly. They're starting with +2s, and that's a good point to bring up, Code, the point system we're working with here. So this is a +2. All teams will receive 2 points for completing it. When they do a +3, 3 points, +4, 4 points, and so on. And they're going to see how high they can get. They'll give us the scores, and we'll be able to give you a good tally as we go through. And we're sort of looking at all of these dungeons. Now, of course, this is Season 4. And these are the new swath of dungeons we have available to the teams. Now, Co, what are you playing this patch? Is there maybe something in particular you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm playing Destro Lock, but this will be interesting actually now how they go from one to another because it gets increasingly white as you stay out of combat. So when you're going between bosses, you're going to really have to make sure you go the right way and can find where you're going, and you don't overpull, of course. And it does seem actually they're going I guess towards Tree Boss now, which will be an interesting to see how much they pull. I'm playing Destro Lock.
Destro Lock, okay.
I am a meta slave.
Yes, and that's why we're friends, Co. Yep.
What are you
both
playing?
slaves. I am playing as always the priest, and I'll be playing both Holy and Disc. But we have a death here. Wow, this was a big death coming through, but looks like they potentially could get the res and start going again. But of course, they're out of combat, right, Co? So their screen's going to go.
Well, they're all back in combat. It's just obviously the guy who's died is out of combat. But it did seem like he just couldn't see what was on the floor because of the white. And as we said, it's then filled it up, and he wasn't able to see and stood in the muck.
Yep, stood in the muck. And you don't want to stand in the muck. You don't want to get hit by balls. It's sort of like the 101 of World of Warcraft. And here we have, again, they've come back up, but they're out of combat, right? They can't see anything. They need to get to the next platform as soon as possible and try and get into combat. This is a Shadow Priest, as we can see, and the Shadow Priest this season is very, very, very strong. So I'm curious to see, and they are topping the meters, Co. The Warlock Destruction, as you're playing, they're pretty good, but I don't think they're quite as good as Shadow Priest this year, this patch. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think Shadow and Fire Mage as well, they just bring so much, especially towards the higher end of keys, where Destro, obviously, you bring the standard Warlock stuff, and he's going to die again if he's not careful.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Can the healer keep him up? Healer needs to give him something. They are good.
But I think Destro Lock just brings so much damage. It just brings a ridiculous amount, especially if you're going to pull big, and someone like Algathar, you can get towards 1 million DPS, even at my rubbish level of gearing at the minute. So I mean, it's pretty hard to replace when you're pulling just that high number for some of them. But yeah, with Shadow Priest and Fire, they do bring a bit more utility, especially with Mass Barrier and obviously PI.
Yes, PI is such a big thing, and hey, I've managed to receive many a gold because of PI, so I'm very thankful for it. And here they are, they're about to start the next boss. Of course, I think it's quite interesting and funny, Co, that there is a bit of RP before some of the bosses, and the screen just becomes a blinding light.
Well, eventually they managed to wipe it off, as you were saying before. I don't think necessarily bosses are going to be the worst, as it clears pretty quickly, and definitely with this one, it clears before the mechanic of all the saplings on the ground. But going into the last boss is definitely going to be an interesting one, because he spawns some of the mechanics really quite quickly. But I think they should be safe, and they have enough DPS for this, that's for sure.
Definitely, they're running with that. We've got the Mage in here, we've got the Hunter, of course, and the Shadow Priest, and the Blood DK Mistweaver. It seems to be they're running quite a meta comp. I know Hunters aren't particularly associated with meta, but they're very comfortable on this pick, so they're bringing it out for us today. And I think this is a really good display of what probably we're going to be seeing this season more and more, and what our other teams are going to be bringing more and more, which I'm sure we'll have a look at those other teams in just a moment here and see what they're up to. But yeah, Blood DK. Now, Co, in your career as a WoW player, what tanks have you played, and sort of what would you play if you had the choice?
I generally always end up playing Prot Warrior, but that was quite some time ago. I played Prot Pala, especially in the TBC and Wrath Classic, and at some point I played a Brewmaster when it just came out, if you believe that or not.
Wow.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. As we get
Okay.
towards another very important pool when they can't see.
Yeah, I mean, this is really cool, and of course, we want to thank Zippy, one of our raid leaders, a premium raid leader, of course, for creating these affixes. They're all really fantastic, and this is just one of 4 that we're going to see this evening. As we are continuing through the dungeon, I do want to point out that we are supported by Raid.io. We really do appreciate that. And our charity sponsor for today, as always, is Safe in Our World. And of course, if you want to be a part of that, we really, really do appreciate it. So thank you to all of those. And of course, our community sponsors, Glitch Energy, Gamer Advantage, Streamlabs, and NordVPN. So
and Zygor, who are giving us the prizes.
Yeah, that's it. Our main sponsors, Blizzard and Zygor, giving our main package of 6 months of Zygor Premium, which is insane because it sort of falls over into the next expansion. So you'll have a head start on everyone else. You'll be able to get that fat loot before everyone else can. So that sounds real good. So they are playing for that first place prize. This team with their meta comp are doing pretty well. We have had a death, but it looks like they are heading through this pretty quickly. Watching a priest code, does it make you want to play one?
I mean, I do play a priest, but I play Holy in Arena because no one else is going to be my priest in Arena, right? Because, like, I mean, you promised and then you just disappeared on me, like, you know.
Well, hey, when the war within appears, the war within begins, if you know what I mean. So I'll be there.
I'm pretty sure you said that for Dragonflight as well.
But the dragon never took off, really. It sort of stayed, you know. Okay, but I'll be there for you. Much like this one, exactly. And they had the blinding light wiped straight off them as they hit the boss as fast as possible. And here we've got a massive dragon, which is a really cool thing. Of course, Dragonflight is coming to an end, but we've got many cool things coming up. Are you excited for the Mists of Pandaria remix, Co? You gonna be playing that?
Yeah, 100%. I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
With my 1 hour every 2 days to play, I'm all on that. What about you?
Oh, good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually the most excited this expansion for that particular event. Very interesting. It's going to be
how
good.
are you finding Alpha?
The bits and pieces I've been able to go on, very good. Next week's my Alpha week, though, Co. I'm going to be playing it like mad. So I'll report back.
Okay, Alpha week, when you said that, I had a different thing in my mind about what you were doing. But
yeah. Right. And as we get back to the boss here, it's on about 40%. This is really good for the team. They're about 100% health across the board. So they're doing super good. They know what to do. They've done this many times. And of course, it's just a +2. And we're going to head and do some bigger numbers. Now, I've seen some +15s, Co, but I've seen teams struggling with +15s. And here we have a spread of all the teams. Have you been able to do any keys yet this season? Or are you sort of, getting some gear before you head on in?
yeah, definitely. I managed to do a bit of both. Got some gear and did some keys. We only got up to a +5 because I'm taking it pretty casually as we see some of the more interesting tentacle affixes coming out for one of the teams there on the bottom left. Yeah, I've managed to get a couple and test out Destro. Although obviously Destro locked this season, its tier set doesn't carry over. So I'm in a situation of basically trying to learn how to play the new stuff, but with the old talents, or do I switch over to try and get the new rotation going? So I'm in a bit of a pickle right now.
Bit of a pickle. I mean, well, as I say, next week's my Alpha week, and then I'll be looking to maybe dip my toe. I do want to do the weeklies, though, of course. They're doing Black Temple, Time Walking, gives you some great gear. So that's a bit of a tip out there for people. Make sure you do your weekly quests for Time Walking Black Temple, because, hey, you're going to get some great loot, and you can make all these dungeons just a lot easier. Now, Co, I want to have a look at these team names, okay? So we've got Loud Duck Energy. We've got We PvP'd ourselves. We've got, of course, ROAST, Roast. We've got Man, Dude, Absolutely Massive Friends, and Dirty Dave, and the Muckers. So we've got a wide spread of teams. What do you think about these team names and also their sort of logos they've put out for us today?
Well, I mean, I love all these team names. They're not quite, Method, Liquid, and they're going back in the day, Insidia and all of this. Don't give you those kind of vibes, right? They give you more kind of a Beam, vibes, simply
Yeah.
enough. But I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can come up with. Nonetheless, I know they're full of good players, and I don't know who I'm supporting or who I think's going to win. I have a vague suspicion that Man Dude is going to win.
Yeah.
But I'm in no way convinced to that, especially seeing Detrix tanking before. What do you think?
Um, look, I'm a fan of all of these names. I quite like Dirty Dave and the Muckers. That has a little ring to it, which is pretty cool. So I don't have a favorite yet. I think as the event goes on, I will probably gravitate toward a team, probably the underdog. But at the moment, it's really just I want to see some quality Fiesta, right? And those tentacles coming out, oh, they really give a Fiesta, you know.
Whatever gets you going, man. But I think you've got to go with whatever team has the Vengeance Demon Hunter. Like, it's just so over the top, really, right now, especially being able to shut down stuff in terms of really not letting anything cast as one of the affixes, right? You're just not going to miss anything go off. And I think that gives you a really, really massive advantage. And just being able to just chain pull and basically not worry about anything at all.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm looking around at all these different dungeons here. I believe we actually did have our first dungeon time come through. Did we? Yep, I think we did. Yeah, we
we've
did.
got we've got some scores coming through. They're getting slowly updated, and I'll keep you up to date as to what they are as they get finalized. But we're just finishing off. Dirty Dave as well is just finishing off. Well in time, as you can see.
Yeah, with about 10% left on the boss here, Dirty Dave is finishing off this dragon, making sure his fire does breathe everywhere, but not on the players, of course. Dirty Dave is making sure that doesn't happen. And we come down to about 5% on the dragon, and of course there is a theme here, lots of dragons in all these dungeons, of course. Blizzard did a good job of that. The fire on the floor, of course, is not safe, so don't stand in it, as I know some people that I've played with before like to do. And as a healer, I don't always appreciate it, but when I'm padding the meters, that's when I appreciate it.
Do you play Mythic Plus often? Normally you raid lock, don't you?
Beginning of the season, it was.
You do your massive spreadsheets. You do like 15 of them. Get everyone sorted on what they should press and when.
Yeah, and then I just log off. Yeah, but no, it's at the beginning of the season I spam it. I get sort of geared out, and then then I just raid log, right? But at the beginning of the season, I'm all there, and I'll be there with you in PvP. You know.
I'll keep you to it. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Hey, look, if Blizzard do the same thing they did in Shadowlands and make sure a weapon drops from PvP, I'll be there pumping to get 2,300.
2,300?
Yeah, I think it was 2,100. It was 2,100, I think.
Do you think you're getting anywhere near 2,100 in PvP?
You've not seen me. Oh, of course. I used to be known as the hard-hitting hunter on the bronze, what is it called, Bronzebeard server.
Really? 'Cause talking about going backwards, right? Zoe told me to ask if you could cook more vegetables.
Holy moly. Yeah, so...
What's that about?
Yeah, so it was December 2021, and I was streaming. And I was in London on an event trip, right? And I needed to get food. So I bought some vegetables and put them in the oven, right? Unfortunately, they all shriveled up. And it was horrific, but I showed stream, and there's a picture somewhere of my shriveled vegetable, and that's really where it started. But I'm sure we'll find a picture of that at some point.
Okay. No, I look forward to it. I'm also looking forward to hopefully getting a proper look from one of these teams in a bit more focus, so we can see the affix in all the glory as Halls of Infusion was finished off there. But we're going into Alderman.
Excellent. So Alderman here is actually quite a pug killer back in the day. I don't know if you remember Code. People would get lost and then just give up. So I'm glad Blizzard have streamlined this a little bit more for everyone, and it now turned to one of my favorites. What do you think about this?
Well, as we know from the Race to World Worst event, we also have Alderman, but the old version of Alderman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, people still get lost in there, even 20 years later. So absolutely, it's a geography challenge as much as anything else. I think I really do love this place in terms of theme, even just old and new. But from a point of let's say understanding it, I'm still getting there for whatever reason. I don't know what is stopping me from getting this. Perhaps stupidity, who knows? But this one is proving a bit more mentally taxing on me than the others.
Okay. I mean, that's understandable. As time gets on and we do start to reach or go over our peak, things do get more and more difficult. But we, of course, are looking at the boss in here, which used to be a lot easier, actually, than what it has turned into now. And I do appreciate that for Blizzard, making the content slightly more difficult. And there we have the kill as they move on to the next mob. But the screen is filling up with this white light, and they need to get in combat as fast as possible, or else they're kind of stuffed, right? Especially in this dungeon, especially in this one where you've got to go weaving in and out of corridors. You got to find those mobs.
Yeah, and obviously you have the danger of overpulling. So especially as we get higher and higher up throughout the evening, you might see the timer really start to play more of an effect as they have to decide whether they want to, well, they almost stand another something else again, whether they want to just take 1 or 2 mobs, remove the custom affix, and then go, or they want to just send it, go all in, and just really try to beat the timer. So we might have some of that interplay as we go forward to the rest of the evening. But as of right now, we're just more or less just showcasing the custom affixes, what they do, enjoying our time, and pumping some numbers, simply enough.
Yeah. Pumping those numbers, and of course that is a big thing for these teams. They really want to pump those numbers as high as they can, get through these dungeons quickly, especially as all these affixes are afflicting them. And we're seeing here one of the bosses that potentially for melee could be quite dangerous, as range do have that, mobility to be able to stand where they need to, away from the boss and away from the fire on the ground. But it looks like they're doing all right. Just the Shadow Priest taking a bit of damage, but of course they've got great off healing, which is one thing we saw in the last actual MDI. They were using that priest to help actually heal the group, so they didn't need a healer. So it's something to look out for as we are venturing through this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we're going to be a bit more standard playthrough for this evening, and as we almost have him get hit by the bomb, but he manages to get out just in time. Or maybe it took a tick or so, as the ship is going to get sunk in a second.
Yep, exactly. The ship is going to get sunk, and they will continue on to the next part of the dungeon. But of course, we are going to see the screen fill up with the white light, and they will try their best to get to the next group. We've had that monk shield come out, which is been put on this priest a few times, actually. Maybe the least scared of the group.
Perhaps the least scared, or perhaps the least willing to move, as would be the case with me. I would also be standing on there, just being like, "No, you can heal me through this. This is okay. I'm going to hit numbers, and you can keep me up, as your job is... that is what you are paid to do." As
exactly.
You want to pad the meters, and there are healing meters on this screen as well, as there wasn't last time that we cast it together.
Exactly, yeah. Now we can really see what's going on. And of course, you want to the DPS want to pad the meters, the healers want to pad the meters, and it's really that healer's job to be a fluffer almost, to keep them up and keep them going. So we are heading through here as the light is covering the screen. They're trying to find those enemies as fast as possible, so that they can continue. But there's some RP, and it looks like they're going to get into combat now, which is good. One thing to note, Co, is these teams have been practicing a lot. They have put the time in with these affixes. And I think it's something to note that although we think, hey, this is really dangerous, maybe they've got a strat in place. Do you think these teams are ready?
Yeah, I was actually doing some runs with the tank from this group with Lux the other day. He's pretty much exactly on this dungeon, so I know that they know exactly what they should be doing and when. And they almost managed to fall down, but you can see them kiting around the room, making sure they have aggro and keeping well out of range, as they do really hit quite hard. But I think they have their strats down really well. Yeah, we've seen them play together throughout the last couple of weeks as they get ready for this event, especially once they found out what the prizes were, right?
Yeah, prizes are insane. Of course, we've got the epic edition of the War Within, Cataclysm. We've got some goodies from Zygor, 6 months worth of Zygor Premium. Amazing going into the next expansion. We've got that wall art with that wonderful owl staring into your soul. Put that on your ceiling while you're sleeping. You'll have a great time. And we got many, many other goodies from Blizzard to be giving out to the first place team. And of course, second and third with great prizes as well. There's one thing, Co, I do want to point out really fast. Hello, we are Starship, and we are, of course, looking at the MDY, where these teams are battling to get as high as they can in Mythic Plus with new affixes that we've put into the game. Our wonderful Zippy has created for our teams, and you can see one of them in front of you right now. I want to head over to the chat and have a look here. Kizza, welcome. Hello, welcome to the stream. We've also got Zippy, Zoe, Wolf as well. You're healing. Many of those familiar faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Co, I'm just sitting back and relaxing, watching all these new affixes, and these teams frantically try to get through the dungeon unscathed.
Yeah, I think so far we've seen probably one of the affixes that has probably been the least taxing on most of them. So as you'll get to see the rest of them throughout the rest of the evening, we'll really get to see some things that are a bit more interesting in terms of challenge. But as you were saying about Shadow Priest off healing, we did have some coming out there as they were really getting quite low, and it's really a case of now moving quite quickly throughout the dungeon. But it's also really interesting to see just how much self-healing the DK did through most of that. It was just damaging monk and healing tank, which was probably a bit more like the MDI than I expected it would be.
Exactly. And if we could have a look at that man dude, if we could get a zoom in on them at some point, would be absolutely fantastic. And just because I'm very curious to see the this sort of team comp play out, as we've got the double paladin. We've got the Mistweaver healer, of course, because they are the premium healer at the moment. And then that tank, that Demon Hunter, who is really at the top of the list for all tanks. What do you think about this comp? It's interesting that there's a Ret there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. There's 2 Rets here, right? They're already on a +5, and they have 4 deaths. But you can see they're here already in less than 10 minutes, which is really quite impressive as that blindfold does come out. DH should be used to it, of course. But, I mean, Ret Paladin really does do a lot of damage, especially if you can do those kind of, I guess, medium-sized pulls. Maybe not on the same sort of pulls where Destro Lock shines, but the kind of on-demand, huge levels of AoE damage. We see it really shine, and obviously the amount of other utilities, let's say, they have, utility even, is really just amazing. Especially if they have the spec for it, of course, but if they do, then you really should help these teams to pull pretty big.
Exactly, and I think it's something to note as well that the Ret Paladin is actually one of the easier DPS classes to play, and definitely on lower keys, they are a really great addition to any team as you're trying to progress through. Of course, the tentacles in the bottom left and the bottom right, we had another death come out from this team. Now, bottom right, interesting, Co. Do we want to talk a little bit about this UI and who this person is?
Is it Captain Reverso in the bottom right?
Captain Reverso? Yes,
yeah,
because the other way around. Exactly, Captain Reverso.
Okay, our Lord and Savior, and all of this. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't want to see this UI. Let's just
we'll skip that. We'll skip that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at all these teams here. We do have a couple of teams heading toward their final bosses, and we'll have some scores coming in very soon as well. So we'll be able to see who really is topping the boards at the moment. To be honest, from looking at all these affixes, Co, the Blinding Light affix seems to be the one that's going to really challenge people later on.
I'm not too sure. I mean, I think the Blinding Light one isn't necessarily going to challenge them as much as perhaps the Interrupt one on some of these comps. I think the DH, you have a way around it with just the amount of interrupts they have and stops in general. Although, I mean, you could argue that not having, I mean, Paladin's not really having an AoE stop, unless I'm wrong, of course, might go against that, and some of the other groups might pick it up with the rest of the DPS. So I think the Flashbang one is kind of pretty much going to be encouraging optimum playthrough anyway.
Okay, that's good to know. If we could maybe have a closer look at Absolutely Massive Friends at some point, it would be good to see, because they seem to be challenged, especially on this boss. so we can see if they can get through to the end. They're on a +4, so these teams are progressing quite quickly. I see a +5 up in the top left, +4 in the bottom right. And here we have them. This is the reverso, dude. So everything is backwards. So if you're watching and you're confused, don't worry, just think backwards. And they are taking down this boss as swiftly as possible with 2 deaths, the mage and the monk. It is weird to see the mage dead, the monk dead, and also the mage, as some people say are unkillable, right?
To be honest, I was going to say 3 deaths, so I'm glad you went for it, because obviously, you know, everything's backwards. So
Yes.
I was completely confused by what was going on there. Yeah, two deaths, but it looks like everyone is now back up and running, quite literally, and they're on a +4, and it looks like they've got plenty of time to get this finished. And hopefully they remember how to do the next bit from all that time ago.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this team has got our raid leader, Zippy, Nihilith, sorry if I butchered your name. And of course, our supreme community leader. What does he want to be affectionately known as, Co? Adam 2?
Yeah, I'm happy to call him Adam 2 for the entirety of the evening, especially as he's got stuck behind the rest of his team here. I don't know what he was doing, but now he's managed to get through safely at the 3rd time of asking, perhaps. So, no, good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got Rochelle in chat saying, everyone drink Dwarven Ale for every death. Dwarven Ale. Is there some Dwarven Ale in our real world?
I think it's just Scottish lager or something like this, isn't it?
Ah, I see. Scottish lager. So yes, potentially, if you're out there, you're watching tonight and you want to have a fun game to hang out with, you can maybe drink some Dwarven Ale when someone dies. Looking at this group, let's see if that will happen here. But of course, we've got the blood decay, so the healer does have a bit of pressure taken off them, as that blood decay can self-sustain. But they do need to look after the rest of the group, as they're doing quite a hefty pull, chain pull almost, as those tentacles are increasing, ever increasing over the screen.
Yeah, just to repeat, so the tentacles are, of course, a custom affix, not part of the WoW game. It hasn't gone that weird, don't worry. Where the more you cast, the more tentacles will appear on your screen, obviously slowing down or getting removed as you go through periods of inactivity. But as a very high action per minute class, as the monk is, then those tentacles are going to fill up your screen and distract you as they are getting bigger and bigger. Yeah,
this is actually wild. We're seeing something really crazy here. And hey, luckily they killed the mob and they were able to stop casting. It's on a boss where I think it can get real scary, real sketchy, especially for this Mistweaver. So we'll see what happens with that as we get closer to the boss. But they're just simple tentacle management here. I didn't think I'd ever say that in WoW, but here we are.
Or at all, really, simply enough, tentacle management. It's not really part of your every day job. But who knows? What do you think, by the way, about as I saw him when he interrupted, he had one of those like /say things saying whatever was interrupted. What do you think about DPS who have that sort of thing?
They probably should, find whatever macro they made and throw it into the ether, to be honest. I don't really look at chat when I'm playing. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not something that there's so much information that you need to sort of have in the middle of your screen that you need to be aware of. I'm not really looking bottom left at chat. So I can understand it maybe when there's food, someone's put food up, maybe a great feast at the beginning of a pull. Yeah, maybe let everyone know. But not always a fan. What about yourself?
It's blowing your own trumpet, isn't it, really? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at me. Look what I interrupted.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Just saying it. I mean, maybe the plug to let people know that you've used your cooldown. But hey, we've all got weak covers these days. We know what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm just bullying him because he's obviously he's up too, right? So.
Oh, absolutely. I know. And of course, we have a death here in the group. The demon hunter has fallen, and those tentacles really are rising in the face of this Mistweaver, this Windwalker.
Yeah, absolutely. No one wants tentacles in the face.
No, absolutely not. Right, looking over at chat here. How are we doing? Hello, Panda Chow. Welcome to the MDY, everyone. And of course, we've got wine here from Talvi. Excellent. Yeah, grab yourself a bottle, grab yourself a pint, or just some simple flavored water. That's what I've got next to me here, Co. Some sugar-free Volvic fruit-touched water.
Fruit touched? What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, it says fruit touched on the front. I have no idea, but here we are.
Touching fruit. Okay, interesting one. I'm gonna get myself some beer in a jiffy, but
In
I'm
a
not
jiffy.
gonna abandon you just yet. Because
Okay.
I'm interested to see what's happening in the next group that we go to.
Yeah, exactly. And we do see a spread of different groups here. We've got that group at the bottom right here, the Duck Energy, the Loud Duck Energy. They are really pushing through on this boss. It's quite a mammoth boss, isn't it? You've got to make sure that you do dodge, and it looks like they just dodged, so pretty good. And we've got a very full UI here, so a lot of information on the screen. That Resto Shaman. Now, it's not something that you see very often, the Resto Shaman, especially in Season 4, but they are making it work real well.
Yeah, no, fantastic for them. Resto Shaman is one of those classes where I'm not quite sure the effort to reward ratio is quite there in this season because of the. I mean, you've got so much to think about. You've got so much button bloat, right? I love it as a class and as a concept and all of this.
Ooh.
Oh, they got hit by the lava. I was gonna say
Yeah.
not balls this time, is it? But
No.
I'm not quite sure if the effort to reward ratio would be there for me to consider picking up a shaman. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is a bit of that. And of course, though, they do have the affix, which, it's making it harder and harder for this shaman to be able to see what's going on the screen. They have to heal the bars. They then have to dodge all the fire. I do find it interesting seeing a healer UI with their healing frames so far over to the left, but hey, they're making it work. They're sort of pushing through. And we see the prop paladin, sorry, not the prop paladin, the rep paladin, and also the prop warrior in this group. So a bit of a different team comp as what we've seen previously. I'm curious to see the next pool, though, as they do go on the boss. This will be one to see if they can make it through. Now, just quickly, Co, I'm looking over in the chat here. We've got people with some Morgans. We've got some ice cold Dr. Pepper. Holy moly. And then someone has a summer fruits Volvic. So, hey, snap. We've got some friends out there.
I wonder if that was only touched by fruit or it was more heavily involved.
Oh, well, hey, sometimes you gotta have a bit of both, right? So here we have the mammoth, the tusks will be coming at you pretty fast real soon. So here they are preparing, getting everything ready to go. As they start this boss here, we do have that Beast Mastery Hunter, which, especially for a boss like this, is pretty damn good, right? You've got that movement, which will help you out a lot. And the prop paladin, sorry, I keep saying prop paladin. The prop warrior potentially on this boss has a bit of a rough time with all that magic damage, but I'm sure they'll be able to make it through. They are really just loud duck energy,
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what their team comms sound like, given what they are called. But I'm sure it's full of fun and positivity. And given what they told me about themselves in their description, also not repeatable. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a fun time had for all of those people who are getting absolutely shot in the face with fire quite regularly at this point in time.
Yeah. And as someone said, given the team, they're having fun. And here we've got a wonderful split of other teams. We're seeing deaths happen over and over from different types of groups here. These affixes really are beginning to be something that is quite dangerous for these teams as they get higher and higher. I see a +5 in the top left there, and we've got some other higher keys coming soon. Now, I think as we start to increase the difficulty, the speed will start to decrease, but also it could help potentially with things like the tentacles. Maybe they're killing things quickly and specifically to try and mitigate that affix. What do you think about
that? I was just checking the scores. I'm completely zoned out for what you were saying.
No, you're fine. No,
no, but I yes, I agree completely. Whatever you say, my love.
Excellent. So, Co, do let us know what's happening with these scores. Is there anything interesting, or are we sort of on an even playing field at the moment?
I think rather expectedly, pretty much everyone just +2 their initial key, and now we're on to doing the rest of them. So I think we're pretty much on an even keel at the minute, as really about this dungeon where things will probably end up getting split up. As we see, it's only 4 minutes, 45 left here, final boss bottom left here for we PvP'd ourselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, things get split up a bit more.
Exactly, yeah. And we can see these different affixes popping off as the three, we can see 3 teams here with the tentacles, and we've really PvP'd ourselves as we go into this boss here. The tentacles are really erupting for this team, and it's proving to be quite tricky for them. but they potentially could get through. Now we do see that Resto Druid coming through, very, very meta in Season 4. Reason being, of course, is because that Shadow Priest is so incredibly strong that you want to take a Shadow Priest instead of a Disc or a Holy, and then you want to bring that Resto Druid with the Mark of the Wilds, because if you're not taking that Guardian tank, because you're taking, of course, the Vengeance DH. So there's interesting play here between the classes, but they do have that premium class, which is good to see. So they are... Oh, and we're heading over here to another boss. This is the team we looked at previously with the 2 Rets, and they are on a +5, and they're doing pretty well, Co.
Yeah, they've absolutely smashed this one. So Knockwood is the one with the blindfold. Just to go over it, the lower your health is, you get a blindfold, cover your screen. So the lower down you go, the more of your screen will get covered. So it punishes you for being a low HP, which is possibly why double rep is going to be such a godsend for them, and one of the harder affixes that you can get, as you see the blindfold starting there, but obviously the back up to full. So this is going to be one of the ones where, let's say, it doesn't already encourage optimal play, it just is generally punishing for making mistakes, which is probably going to be one of the ones that is more challenging, especially as we get up to the higher level of keys where things hurt a bit more. +5, as you can see, they're absolutely gonna smash this.
Yeah. Exactly. They are smashing through this +5. And I think the difficulty really starts to come in at those +10s, +11s, +12s, which I think we'll start to see them one chesting it. And I think that's probably good for the teams to be one chesting it, because they don't want to be increasing the level so much that they're not getting any points, right? And you don't want to waste your time having to keep bringing the key down. So maybe there's some strategy in this sort of play. It's something to say, hey, should we have +3'd the +2? Should we just +1'd and really got a lot of points? I don't know. But we do have a death here on this boss as it hits about 50%. They're going to get the res up real quick, which is good. And we've got the Mistweavers cooldowns coming out as well to keep everyone nice and fresh as we're heading into the next part of the fight. I'm a fan of Mistweavers, Co. I am a fan. Of course, Priest will always be my number 1. But hey, number 2, it's hard. The Mistweaver's good.
Yeah, I mean, Holy this season is just like doing really, really nice in both PvP and M+, and I'm sure in Raid as well.
Yep.
Mistweaver, I have some sort of PTSD from doing Arena when they had the fist weaving coming out, where they just chase you around the map and just you couldn't do anything. They'll just pummel you with damage and heal at the same time. That was just that was horrible for an uncoordinated group that I was in anyway. Or maybe it's just my fault for not being able to CC them well enough.
But hey, when you stand in fire, it is what it is.
Stand in fire, DPS higher, absolutely.
Yep. But you're right. The Holy Priest this season has had a few buffs, so we've seen it increase. And of course, some of the raids that have been brought back for this fated season, some of those raids did lean towards Holy near the beginning of the expansion into the second raid as well. So we'll be seeing some Holy, but of course that disc was optimized for a Midrasil, so we'll see that disc come out now and then as well. But you're right, the Mistweaver is super strong, had some nerfs, but hey, it's still super, super strong. Looking at this team, they are slowly chipping their way through this boss, and they will do it in time. But to what end, we'll see. As there we go, the boss is down. Thank goodness.
Get to see what loot they get, because that's the other thing that comes from today. New season, so they're going to actually get some upgrades as we're going through, and maybe they get something that's really massive for them, which is going to be, I mean, slightly unfortunate, but it's all a bit of fun at the end of the day.
Exactly.
For the type of event, and maybe we're having some equipment switched over here live on stream as well.
Amazing. So we're going to see something, as Co said, something really interesting. We're going to see metas, maybe progression of teams form because of that gear changing. The gear changing is really important, especially as you said, the new season. But when they start to do those +10s, etc., that gear is really going to ramp, and it maybe help them get those extra points they need to win the competition. But hey, we've jumped on another Dragon boss, Co. This one's exciting. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes down quite low. Obviously, if there was a blindfold affix for this one, then that would have been even more punishing. But I think we're just on the flashbang affix, as it's colloquially being called. So it's kind of just encouraging optimal gameplay, and on the boss, it's not quite as bad. But as just to make clear for everyone watching, there's 4 affixes, 1 for every dungeon, so you only see one affix for one dungeon, it will be repeated twice. So, for example, the blindfold one is only Halls of Infusion and Knock. The, let's say, Flashbang one, which I called it, is only Algathar and Alderman. So you won't see them repeated the same affix the whole way through, and it won't be randomized. So there will be some logic to this madness that's going on tonight.
Exactly. There's some logic, and it has allowed these players to be able to prepare. And I think that's something that I really enjoy about World of Warcraft is you can put in lots of preparation for things. Of course, there will be some randomization as you get into fights, etc. But you can really prepare down to the detail. And sometimes it's not the best hands that always win. It's sometimes the teams that had the bigger brain that win. And I think that's, again, here, we can, it can really be shown. Maybe the bigger brain wins.
Unfortunately, that where the priest put the that pull really blocks their team into the corner now, and they don't really have anywhere to go. But thankfully, they go into the soak phase. They can clear up a bit of space. It was getting a bit quite tight at the end of the last 10%, but they managed to soak those pulls, and they're going to give themselves enough space here to finish this off well within time.
Exactly.
At the minute, in terms of the lead, we have Notkud offensive on Mandude, as we saw, which gives them being able to complete a +5. So we will they're well within the lead. We don't have any updates from anyone else just yet, but other than this team right here, and what key level was this? I missed it.
This was, I think it was a +4, but we'll see in a moment. They'll give us the scores, and there we go again with the loop and the flashbang as well. They need to get themselves out of that dungeon ASAP so that they can continue to the next one.
I like how they're unlocking Great Hall as well in the middle of this. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Excellent. But of course, as you said, and I mean, it was ironic that I was talking about big brain plays as we saw them trap themselves in. But as you said, they could suck it up and they could get it done, which is super good to see. So this team are going to prepare for the next dungeon. They're going to be looking at that juicy... Oh, just trying to see their loot as well. They're going to be looking at that juicy loot, which is exciting as well. So we've got double layer today. We've got exciting dungeons with exciting drops. I'm always a sucker for opening those chests.
You said that in such a seductive way as well. I love it. Have you maxed your vault ready for next week? I'm still trying to do it on a few characters.
Of course, I am really excited to cast this evening, but I have not logged into WoW in about 2 resets. But I will have everything by Wednesday.
Wow, that's hardcore. When are you planning on this?
I will find the time. Look, I don't sleep. I go gamer hours, so at least the weekly stuff will be done, right? So we'll get that all sorted.
Midnight spreadsheets, right? That's
midnight spreadsheets, yeah. But for season 4, we're getting a bit lighter on all that sort of stuff. We're going to get everything prepared for the War Within, but we're seeing the split screen here as our teams are preparing for their dungeons. We're looking over in top right. I think the team's sort of getting themselves together before they head onto the last boss. Anything jump out to you here? Maybe the tentacles?
The tentacles were jumping out all over the place. I think top right is frozen rather than preparing, but who knows what's going on with that. Top left seems to be where the action is, just starting their new one, which is a +7 on Ruby Life Pools, which is going to be the interrupt affix, which, once again, to repeat, if you miss a cast and it goes off, all of your nameplates will then be covered for the next 10 seconds. But if you do interrupt, then you get an immunity from this effect for some time. So you really are heavily incentivized to get those interrupts going. As we see that affix come out now, all of those nameplates are covered up, at least for a while anyway, and they move on throughout the dungeon.
Yeah, and right now in these early levels, the +7 they're on, those sort of things don't matter too much, right? They're not going to be too impactful. But it's as they get to those harder points in the tournament, that's going to be really a detriment. They're not going to know really what to, how to position themselves, cooldowns, all these sorts of things. It's going to get real tricky, but they are dealing with it pretty well at the moment. And we've got another death on the bottom left here. We PvP'd ourselves. Hey, they truly did PvP themselves, and they have a death coming out, but it looks like they are continuing, and they'll be just fine.
It looks like they reset their key, actually, because they were right at the beginning of a timer of +2, so it looks like they reset their key. But you're saying about +7, I mean, remember, +7 is a 17, right?
True.
In the new season, so it's still given the fact that you haven't had time to go through and gear up entirely for this new set, well, it depends how hard you play it, right? In let's say 4 days, it might have gone crazy.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I know these players haven't gone that over the top insane, so there's still going to be challenge here for them. It's not going to be a walk in the park with
Exactly.
completely overpowered gear.
We have seen that this season is very much for fun, as you are preparing for the war within. And what have you seen of it, Ko? Have you done anything within the alpha?
Yeah, absolutely. I got before the recent update, I got to the max level, did my quest, did the delves. Me and Zippy, who's obviously playing tonight as one of the tanks on his Blood DK, we did a dungeon together, and I really enjoyed the new dungeons. I did the brewery one.
Oh,
with the bees.
With the bees, with the BEO at the end.
Yeah, and the IPA boss as well.
Yes. Very, very exciting. I'm very excited for the new expansion. For me, I'm a Mr. Pandaria boy. I like that aesthetic. I like that sort of thing, and I feel like this expansion touches on that in a couple of different zones. So I'm very excited for it.
Are we going to get a chance to play together? Is that actually going to happen if we both play Mists? Is this actually?
Oh yes. Oh,
really
remix,
going to happen?
Yeah. We're all forced in one zone.
I think I've played with you once in the entire history of WoW. One game we played together.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we played. Actually, no, I tell a lie. We didn't actually play together. You were watching and telling us when to use our cooldowns.
Oh, when I wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
I think it's because you guys kept dying. But anyway, it looks like we have bottom right. One of our competitors is dead on the floor with the tentacles. With a bit of a reload here.
But we have a finish on bottom left, I believe, or close enough anyway. Boss is down.
Chargath has gone down, and look at them there. They've popped their raid markers down. They're taking this seriously. Okay.
Well, I mean, given that the first prize is probably $300 a person, I think I'd be taking it seriously as well. Yeah. I mean, me and you both know that we would be taking part in this if we could.
Oh yes.
And there would be so many spreadsheets.
There'd be so many spreadsheets. My back would be sodden with sweat at the moment. That's how sweaty it would be. But hey,
you do it to yourself. You do it to yourself at this point.
Yep. There we are. But yes, exactly. These prizes are absolutely outrageous. And again, we want to thank Blizzard and Zygor as our premier sponsors for today's event. They have provided goodies and gifts, and Zygor has provided a swath of of premium accounts so that these players can really level quickly within the war within. But also as well, I believe Zygor has things like gold making and other different achievement sort of things to really help you max out your account and your warband, right? What do you think about the warbands, Ko?
Oh, I'm looking forward to everything about the kind of single player content side of the game. It's been so needed for so long. I'm really looking forward to it. And we have quite a lot of, as you say, booty on offer. And on that subject, how is your plunder storming going?
I haven't really plundered deep much, to be honest with you. I tried it and it just really wasn't for me. And I think you've just got to try it once, right, Ko? And if it's not for you, it's not for you. I think I as a healer main, obviously the plunder storm without having a real support or anything like that. Of course, there are supportive abilities. It wasn't really my cup of tea, but it's something that I would jump back in again when they bring it out inevitably in the future with a different theme. But I didn't play it too much.
Okay.
Did you play?
I played it a bit. Yeah, I won one of my first couple of ones, and then I felt satisfied. I was like, I'm a winner.
Yeah, you felt good. Sorry to interrupt. Top left here, they are dealing with a lot in this +7 ruby pools. They got through. Thankfully, they were able to defeat the boss, although it looked kind of challenging at the end. You're right, though. I know you mentioned earlier that +7 really is a +17, and it really is higher numbers. So these teams are doing really well. And we're going to see them have to push themselves further than they probably have before so that they can win this competition. And we're going to see if they really will get sweaty as well with all this.
We had some hardcore looting in the bottom right-hand corner as well going on, but as they seem to have finished, it'd be nice if we get a full screen view as well. As Roast, by the way, had finished a 5 halls of infusion, Mandude a 5 knocker defensive, and I think we're gonna see Loud Duck Energy have finished a 5 or a full Maltharius. I'm just waiting for confirmation on that. So we are moving ahead quite nicely throughout the evening, but we have some probably solid front runners in the shape of Mandude.
Yeah, we do have some solid runners, and I think this is really going to come down to probably the last hour or so, where these teams have had time to really stretch their legs, and there'll be a plateau, I think, Ko. At some point, there'll be a plateau where this is the hardest key that I think we all can do. It's the team that can push through and get it done. That's really going to come out on top, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think just given the speed at which Mandude are going right now, it just seems to be quite a decent chunk quicker than everyone else, unless they just burn out. Because obviously the other thing that's not really spoken about in these kind of events, when you're going for, let's say, 3-4 hours, however long, right, in a gaming session, maybe these guys have the stamina, but eventually you do have that kind of mental exhaustion, and you do have to, take a break every now and again, and when that's planned for them, maybe a bit like taking a pit stop, right, in Formula One, maybe you get overtaken.
Exactly. I think it is. You're right. They could potentially lose their lead if they decide to just power through, and they maybe slip up a few times because they needed that break. I think it's probably best for them to really hit it hard, get high, get a lot of points, and then take that 5-10 minute to regen, grab a drink, and get going. What about you, Ko? How do you fuel yourself? Let's talk about the War Within. When it comes out, what are you fueling yourself with to get through the evening?
Sleep, probably. Given my very limited gaming schedule, I will be sleeping when everyone else is playing. And then when no one else is on, as is my luck, I will be available to play. And that is pretty much how my gaming life goes. So yeah, I am most likely on in the morning when no one else is, and away at night when everyone else is on, which is unfortunate. And I am probably fueled by coffee, if anything. How about yourself?
Like many sweaties, I'm going to take a few days off because there's spreadsheets to do, Ko. So, I need to take the days to do that. And to be honest, it's the one time in the year, every 2 years, that I have 1 can of Monster Energy.
Is this some sort of special sacred occasion? Is this the
Yes,
Monster Day?
Because I understand how terrible it is for your body, right? But in this occasion, it's the right thing to do.
Spreadsheets aren't going to wait for anyone.
Exactly.
You have alpha, right? So not alpha. You have early access with your edition of WoW, right? So you'll have 3 days extra.
I actually don't. I don't have that edition.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I will be frantically spreadsheeting, but of course we're going to be able to test the bosses early, right? Which is going to be super interesting. And that brings me on to the Starship community, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be a part of a team, maybe you want to test some bosses out, they're going to be able to be open to everyone, I'm sure, to be able to test them out in the future. The Starship community is a great place for you to be able to find those groups to play with. And hey, I'm sure we're going to pop it into the stream in just a second, but it's super, super simple. Head on over to Discord and there's so much stuff to do over there. There's so much stuff to do. There's PvP, PvE, there's community events, there's fan events, there's meetups. There's so much stuff, isn't there, Ko?
Yeah, there's even bullying me, which I heard is on the agenda for this evening, which I'm waiting for to see what happens. But yeah, hopefully it's not too bad for me. If you want to take part in bullying me as well as all the other fun things we have on offer, then yeah, head on over to our Discord, and I'm sure we will set you up with everything that you want to do.
Yeah, in life, right? Or
absolutely. I mean, Starship is love, Starship is life.
That's what I've been told as well. As we do have a look at the split here, we have a couple of different teams looking at everything. We have the tentacles on the bottom left. I've not seen a blinding in a while. It's something that people have avoided, which is obviously good for them because that one is going to be very tricky. I'm looking at the top right here. This pull on a higher key could be quite dangerous. A lot of damage comes out, but I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that are gonna be absolutely okay. Roast is the other team who have managed to do a 5. So it's them and Mandude who are vying for first place, but Mandude seem to be just a tiny bit ahead. Absolutely massive friends have done a 4, so they're slightly behind. But yeah, we're heading on nicely,
Okay.
and I'm sure Roast will be absolutely fine here as they are about to get through
Yeah.
this next section. As we can see,
Oh.
the absolutely ridiculous.
Rooted into
healing.
damage? No, that'll be fine. Oh, they did disperse. Okay.
Disperse, yeah.
So something
As,
I wanted to ask you, sorry, Ko, as we're looking at this screen, top right corner is normally where the map is. Where do you have the map on your screen?
I mean, I have mine in the top right corner, like a normal person.
Yeah. Where is that map? Oh, it's there. It's the bottom. Oh, holy moly.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even have like the timers or anything. They're just like, sod this. Nothing but damage numbers.
They're going natty. They're going raw, and they're really just putting it out here. As we see this frog boss, the frog does slap his tongue around and give you a naughty knock. But of course, if you get close to the boss, he'll eat those frogs, and we'll see what the team does here. They are running clockwise around the boss. They have worked this out, which is good to see. And here we have the ads, and they're going to eat them up, gobble them up, nom nom nom, and they're doing the dungeon correctly. It's good to see.
Yeah, I mean, I've completely forgotten the name of this dungeon. I cannot remember it for the life of me, but they are doing it absolutely correctly. And yeah, it's always actually quite interesting to see Shadow Priest because as a priest enjoyer, even though I don't admit that very often, it is interesting to watch how Shadow has evolved actually over the years. Oh, blindfold comes out.
Oh, this is scary. They got to get health up. There we are, spamming heals. Good job.
Well, the frogs are out though, and they're covering everything as the blindfold goes up.
Yeah,
as
this
well.
is crazy. But it looks like they'll just be okay. I do see that vampiric embrace not being used by the priests. So very interesting when they get low. But hey ho. Of course, DPS sometimes don't know where their heals are, but that's all right as they are able to do this super simply. Now, I was thinking about re-rolling Shadow Priest, to be honest, Ko, because they are that strong. And also, Disc and Holy will not be accepted in M+ when there are Mistweavers and Druids around. But yeah.
You think, oh, deleted.
Oh, that's big.
You just need the text from Dark Souls across the middle now on that black.
Yeah, you died.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you need. I did not think that you'd ever play a DPS. When was the last time you played DPS?
The last thing I played, I think, was a Hunter, about 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, I was DPS main for a long, long time, and then I realized my health was low. No one's healing me, so I better switch.
Oh, we're talking about hunters, so you can see the absolutely huge numbers that are being pumped by one of our resident experts.
Exactly. So that's one thing about hunters: a lot of damage, but they just don't bring a lot of other stuff that other classes do, which is sometimes why they're not brought. So of course, the Shadow Priest brings AoE healing, massive AoE healing. We're not quite seeing it here, but yeah, massive AoE healing. Also, they're really hard to kill. Interrupts and all sorts of other things that they bring, and of course the fortitude, which is so massive, that extra stamina. So they bring all those tools. Where the hunter has a few things, they're quite tanky nowadays, but they don't quite have that, like, fortitude or mark of the wild that some of these other classes have.
Well, I mean, they do have lust, right? But not in a mage meta.
No, and you really want to take the double lust. That seems to be the real kicker of the mage, is that they can double lust, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, hunters do really big numbers, and that's pretty much it at the minute.
Exactly. So these lower
I mean, maybe you can
keys is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can make some sort of argument at some stage, but it's pretty much. Do you think the God comp is going to be amazing as
well? In and out.
Yeah, I think we might have.
Maybe it's me. I think
I have
back
action for
some code.
I'm going to just in case.
As saying we have so I think Ko was about to talk meta, which going to be really interesting evolved. We are seeing the druids and sort of the priests here, and of course the tank, which potentially could be the blood K or could be the demon hunter. There's lots of choice, but I think something will have very, very soon. As this team, Roast, are heading toward the next boss. Boss is quite a difficult, especially keys with that damage, just crazy amounts of damaging out the healer has to deal with, but they have a Shadow Priest to help the Mistweaver head through and get as much out as they can. Now, this team are doing pretty well. As we said, they have locked in some higher scores. Let me have a look here. They have locked in a +5. So that's really, really good. They are on pace for that top 3 spot. We are giving away so many really cool things today. Zygor is giving us 6 months worth of Zygor Premium, which is absolutely insane. And Blizzard have given us lots of cool things to give out to the community. Of course, it's first, second, and third who will receive stuff. And everyone else, of course, will try their hardest to get that loot. Now, this affix, as we've talked about before, is the lower health you get, the more of your screen is covered up, almost like a blindfold. And here we have the death of the priest. Oh my goodness, that came out really, really quickly, but we're going to see a res here as they're going to hide behind this frozen block. Now, this is really dangerous. They need to make sure they're hidden in good time. That blast is going to come out and the damage is about to increase and the team needs to really work together to get through. We're going to see those rings appear. Now, the rings, super scary. Head into the ring and make sure that you're not being touched by that frozen area.
Yeah, I think we're back. Are we back and
Excellent.
live and everything good again? Can you hear me?
We're good to go.
Fantastic
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Good to
I
hear
saw
you.
the priest get absolutely deleted as we were going through
They
that.
did.
Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But it seems like everything's okay. But everyone's on half health.
Yeah, it's going to be really dodgy, especially with that affix. And this particular boss fight code, this particular one is going to be a real troublesome thing as we get higher up, especially with that affix, because it deals a lot of damage. And you can see on this key, the damage is sort of ramping up and coming out. And thankfully, they have that Shadow Priest to help mitigate some of that off healing and also become unkillable now and then. But they are taking a lot of damage, Ko.
I think the meta, I guess, if you want such a thing, is to probably turn your camera so it's sideways, so you can see where the ring is the whole time, rather than the ring ever being covered up entirely by you getting, unfortunately, like timinged, and like as the ring covers up the entirety of the circle that goes out, as we almost saw happen there. But this boss is going to go down in good time for them, as really high damage numbers from a couple of these guys.
Exactly. I'm not really sure what key this is, but I think it's probably a +8, as they did a +5, or even a +7. Maybe they didn't do the 5 in +3 time, but they're really making their way through as fast as possible. And here we've got the gauntlet. Now, this, when we first saw it back in the day, did strike fear into many people, and lots of people died or got knocked off or didn't really know what was going on. So now we know. We'll see how they'll deal with it. How did you deal with it back in the day?
Probably by just getting knocked off and waiting for my team to get to the end is how I deal with it. But no, now I'm much better at it. But we're going to see now. This isn't one of those horrible things with the timing of the custom affix, as we said, with the blindfold. You don't want to get blindfolded as one of these things comes through. You want to really make sure now that your health and the health of your entire group is topped up, which is going to come through hopefully with like the off healing of the Shadow Priest that you mentioned a few times. The DK being able to keep themselves up, as well as having a healer, so it's just like an extra safe composition that these guys are running, and it looks to be doing them well so far.
Yeah, you're right. It's that extra safe composition, especially with this tournament and these affixes. That's really, really important. Stay as high health as possible, and they're doing pretty well at it. I know the last boss was a bit tricky, but this boss probably will present less of an issue. As they are killing these mobs as fast as possible. Of course, we've got the AoE damage coming out on this gauntlet, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much to them. We've got that extra bubble from the priest, which is so massive, giving them that extra shield to make sure that damage is mitigated when it first comes out to stop the blindfold happening. And they are about halfway down.
What I find really interesting, actually, is their second DPS is the Blood DK. I'm just not sure if there's just some sort of magic going on that the blood DK is currently second on the DPS as well as top of the healing? Is it going to be some sort of weird blood DK meta that I'm not used to? But it seems that two of our teams are running it, so maybe they know something
Yeah.
that I don't. Simply enough. which would be
Potentially,
interesting.
potentially. It could be as well the amount of mobs that helps them, but it is strange to see that the mage isn't on top here. But we're heading through here. We're looking at a Mistweaver. Always fun to see healers running these. I'm a big fan. Big fan. It looks like they're going to the exit. Maybe they're dropping the key down.
finished.
Oh,
I
they
think it's
finished.
just-
They finished.
They finished at +7, did they not? We'll
That's
have
insane.
some confirmation if they manage to do anything else. I'm being told that Blood DK is great for the blindfold, and that's why essentially it's a meta for the custom affix.
So we've had a meta within a meta. Absolutely
Abs-
insane.
I'm still surprised that the meta is not going to be Vengeance Demon Hunter just because of how amazing they are across everything with the amount of stocks
Yeah.
they have.
I
But,
think generally they will be, but for this particular, I think Zip is right here with the Blood DK, just being able to stay 100% health, just always, and not really dropping down, which is good to see for them. We've got here Blood DKs can crank out some mental damage. They can. They're good at lots of things, and with the War Within, they're going to get some really cool hero talents too. They're going to make them look super cool in the game.
we're talking about Rider of the Apocalypse, which has to be the
Exactly.
most badass name.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm
Makes
just
me wanna
curious
play
though in a
DK.
fight. Yeah. I'm curious though in a raid that my frames are going to drop when all the DKs press that button. But we'll see.
Just don't invite them. It's easier.
True, actually true. Don't invite them. You've heard it here first from Co.
No DKs allowed.
Too much.
Oh no! We see the affix come out again. Full on blindfold for full on dead. Unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. They have been completely blindfolded, but it's okay. They're on this boss, and I think they'll do it just fine. But I don't think they've got any reses left. I'm trying to see on the UI here. They can't really see, but that's okay. Yeah.
Kind of the point of the affix is you can't really see, which isn't so good from a casting point of view now in the head. We didn't really
That's
think this
true.
one through, did we? Let's be honest.
No.
But
It looks like I'm looking at the top here, Co, and it looks like they've come back from the gauntlet and they're starting to attack again. So all good.
okay, maybe they're just like me and they're waiting for a res.
Oh dear.
Come
But hey,
on.
Destruction Warlock, you shouldn't die, right? So it's all good.
To be fair, dying is pretty difficult as a warlock. You really have to try and do it. But they're back up,
Yep.
so let's see how they crack on with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. The priest is back again. Has dropped down a little bit here, but it's okay. They'll be able to sustain themselves, get them back up, and the boss will die in good time. I think we can't quite see the timers here, but I think they'll die in good time as they are taking out this boss swiftly as it hits 50%.
Yeah, I run with this team the other day. I run with the Hunter and the DK, and seeing their damage now compared to the other people who are actually doing this as part of the competition makes me feel pretty good because I was quite far behind the Hunter and the DK, so I don't quite feel as bad about myself as I was feeling a couple of days ago. So that's always a positive. That's always a positive.
Look, hey, your happiness shouldn't be tied to the meters, you know?
Yeah, but it is. That's the problem.
I'd take an interrupter any day over a bigger damage dealer. But anyway, we have the boss down real low, and there we have it. This is a +7, Co.
Yeah, it's really well done. And I'm just waiting to see what the loot situation is. Obviously, we get to see what they managed to achieve for their troubles, and if they should be excited or not, as we have one bit of loot go out, and I guess a second part. Let's see if we have any.
Let's see what loot
going on.
I'm curious. Oh, gold.
Sad times.
Very, very sad. Get yourself back in. But hey, they've done a +7. They've +2'd it, so they're gonna have a +9, which is gonna be super interesting to see. This is where we start to see some team wipes, I think. But yeah, super interesting. These teams are doing really well. I don't know. The Fiesta will come, I'm sure, a bit later on. But they are preparing for the next dungeon. What key did they get? I didn't quite see.
They're going to have a couple of options to choose from. I'm actually quite interested to see some of the teams that we haven't seen. So far, we've been focusing on the ones that are high up, but I'm sure there'll be some other ones. I mean, we had a bit of a problem with Dirty Dave and the Muckers with their stream. It would be interesting to see if they've managed to sort that out. We've seen a bit of with PvP ourselves. We're absolutely massive friends as well to see where they are, as they are currently third, I believe. And
Yeah, it'd be
obviously
interesting to
Loud.
see. Interesting to see the Dirty Dave, because they do have a holy priest, which we talked about earlier, as being really strong this season, and seeing what they can come out damage wise as well as healing. But it looks like they're doing just fine. They're on +4 here. They have had a few deaths, but that's okay as they head through to this next gauntlet area. You got to real dodge everything as much as possible, and just blast.
Yeah, I mean they've had, if I'm reading that right, 2 deaths. So it means you're managing to do
12,
quite well.
I believe. 12. But
Is that not death times 2? I can't remember I can't remember the interface now. Is that like Tombstone times
maybe.
2 or Tombstone 12?
Maybe it's 12. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe the chat can let us know. But either way, they're doing pretty well. They're getting through it, right. They've got 14 minutes left on the clock to complete the dungeon. I'm sure they'll do it just fine. As we are watching here, Dirty Dave, Brathia, one of our OG members, who has really just loved pandas. He's loved pandas since the beginning, and I think he'll always love pandas.
Well, there's nothing wrong with loving some pandas. I mean, they don't want to love themselves, do they? So, I mean, someone has to.
Yeah, exactly. And we have someone in chat here, Nosra. So, could you give Nosra and everyone else a quick update at what's going on with the teams? Who's in the lead?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So we have, I believe, Roast are in the lead. They did a 7 recently, and now we're on a 9. Or was it? And then Man Dude, I currently have the same score for. And then Absolutely Massive Friends have got the score of 4. So
Okay.
we are moving on from there.
Excellent. So it looks like Roast are doing super well here. But of course, we've got teams like Dirty Dave and the Muckers who have a bit of a slower start, but it doesn't mean that they won't progress later on in the stages. Because, of course, if you do one of those real high keys, it's going to help you out tremendously. And I think sometimes with these teams, it takes a little bit of warming up, right? You need a little bit of time to get into the groove to be able to hit those, hit your stride, really.
No, absolutely. We just got to see how it goes throughout the evening. We're getting to that point now, as you said, where you're going to have some real resistance, and then it's going to get into the stage of how do you mentally hold up. Not necessarily because of the pressure, although obviously with the prizes that we have, which are amazing, there is going to be some pressure, but more in the sense of you've been running for a while. You just kind of want to get it done. There's going to be some mistakes, and then you start to make those small mistakes that like roll up and ramp up, and then it's a group wipe, and you've got to run back, and it really starts to like get on you after a couple of hours of running constantly. I think that's a factor that we shouldn't overlook in all of this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm curious to see one of the blinding light affixes again. We've not seen it in a little while, but again, it's something I want to look out for as these teams do get higher up. Now, on the bottom left, we PvP'd ourselves, are about to start the dragon boss with the tentacles all prepared to fixate on them on the screen. It might be interesting to have a look at that. It is on level 2, so they should be able to complete this boss in good time. They've got the food out, they're all flasked up, and they're ready to rumble. And there we are. They have engaged with the dragon boss. Now, talk to me, about aesthetics. Are you a dragon enjoyer? Or are you more of a, Warlords of Draenor sort of dark, gritty? What do you prefer?
I think you've got to enjoy both for what they were, right? I mean, I really liked WoD and the old aesthetic, but at the same time, you have to appreciate the new art style as well, and the way that WoW is evolving in the modern era, which is probably the most sensible and well thought out answer I've given you in a long time, especially as it involves zero innuendo, which well done me.
Yeah.
But no, I'm enjoying the new style and the new direction, and the upgrading of the previous items to have more pixels, shall we say. As hopefully we'll get to see in MOP Remix as well, as I'm also quite the fan. It'll be interesting to see if MOP Remix is then a signal of that's how they're going to progress the classic versions of the game now going forwards. If they're just going to stop after like Kata Classic, for example, and they're just going to go, okay, so from then onwards, it's going to be remixes.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to do entire classic expansions.
Potentially. I think it's going to be a difficult decision. I'm sure lots of surveys will come out that we'll see and all sorts of things like that to see what people are enjoying. Potentially it could turn into one of those, Roblox, Fortnite things where we just have a whole bunch of different game modes that people could just choose. But of course, then the community gets split up into different places. So there's lots of decisions they've got to make over the next couple of years. So it will be cool to see what happens. Looking down here at the bottom right, we have another death come out. Unfortunately, it looks like the mage and the windwalker went down. They're on a +6, so things are getting a bit tricky over there, but I'm sure they'll be able to work it out. As Dirty Dave is about to start the boss that's PvP'd ourselves is on, and let's see if they're able to complete it. Look at those tentacles, dude. There's so many.
Yeah, it's the high action per minute class, so that's that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just then about, will one of those tentacles or a group of them be over something important? As you see some of the splashes going out, and they're just hidden behind those Nzoth tentacles, or Nzoth, or however you want to pronounce it. It's just about making sure that you probably just keep moving your camera around to really try and see if you can catch a glimpse of something that's going to go out that you need to avoid, as two of them are on the same boss at the same time, actually, I believe.
Yep, seeing through the cracks, but they did manage to get it down, and that is a +2 done for we PvP'd ourselves. And they're going to head... Yep, congratulations, as they will progress now forwards. And we're looking up here at the top right, Dirty Dave on the same boss, and it looks like he walked into one of the balls. Unfortunate.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first mistake he's made live on stream on a podcast defense. Bless him. I love him so much.
Yeah,
he's great. But he was saying to me before, in one of, because they all gave me little descriptions, right, which we'll go throughout the evening. They said they are a group of drunkards unsure of what's going on, just happy to be here and join in. Also stress this: Adam is on the list, is on my hit list, basically.
Interesting. What sort of hit list are we talking about?
Not quite sure. We would have to ask Dave himself on for clarification on the hit list. Hopefully, not a bad one.
No, hopefully not a bad one. And we had another death in the top left as well. Lots of deaths coming through, but this is difficult. And I'm sure potentially a bit later on we'll be able to hear maybe from a couple of these players, especially in the winning team, to hear sort of their point of view of these affixes, which I think would be interesting from a player's POV, not just us watching. We can see things look very challenging, especially those tentacles coming out. Oh, look at that. Spinning gives you that many tentacles instantly. Crazy.
Yeah, this is one of the things. It's obviously different classes really gonna see them differently, right? So it's gonna be a fantastic time to see. Just to recap the scoring. So scoring is +1, 2, or 3ing chesting a key makes no difference to the score. The only way to generate points is to time the key itself. Obviously, timing the key quickly, however, will work in your favor, as you'll be able to do more of them. So timing quickly will work in your favor, as you'll be able to fit more keys into the allotted time period if you run them faster. So a +8 is 8 points, a +10 is 10 points, etc., is the scoring system I have, unless it's been changed and someone can tell me otherwise. But that's the scoring system I have access to, and I will keep you updated to it as we go through.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we are looking at a number of teams here that have had some great prep leading up into this competition, because the prizes are fantastic. And again, I want to thank Blizzard and Zygor for giving us that sweet, sweet loot for our teams to be playing with. And of course, this is not our only event. This is the MDY, but we hold many, many different events over at Starship. So do head over to the Discord, which will be in chat any moment now, and you'll be able to join our community and be part of fun, quirky events like this, where it really challenges you as a player, but also a bit of fun with your friends.
Yeah, fun and quirky events where you can win up to basically $400 worth of prizes per person. Yeah, I mean, what's more to ask for than that, right?
Exactly. That is actually wild. And especially the Zygor guide, you get 6 months premium. You'll be able to just glide through everything. and be able to get more loot from the game, it's a win-win.
I mean, how good are you at the WoW economy? Are you some sort of WoW economist, or are you a struggling?
I'm
scrub
more
like
of
yourself?
I'm more of a come on a cast, then afterwards stand in the cathedral steps and beg for gold. That's my economy. So yeah, I'm sitting on probably like 2 or 3K account wide.
Wow. Oh my god. Really? Poor child.
I raid log, man. I don't know.
So someone take him under your wing quickly. If there's any like WoW sugar daddies, WoW sugar mummies out there who are looking for a struggling caster.
I want to thank Tithe Man for the Prime. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The Prime from Tithe Man. Probably because he heard my sad story.
Possibly. I think it was before that though, but we can make it about you if you want.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I do plan though, this is a thing. I do plan on trying to make some gold before the next expansion, because especially at the beginning, you need a lot of gold.
Yeah, true. But that's where you need to be good friends with Jay. Jay has many, many millions.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But hey, when you've got it, you've got it,
I mean, I asked this guy for a flask the other day and he gave me 50.
Holy moly.
Yeah, but he's just flexing right now. It's like, yeah, you want a flask at 51. What's the difference?
Yeah. We had someone in chat say, I don't know if I can say that out loud, but yeah, I agree. We've got the blinding affix in the top right corner from Roast, and they're going to try and find an enemy as fast as possible to clear that white stuff off the screen. And wow, these teams are really running hard and running in. A lot of crazy things happening in the bottom left too, as the Resto got flung up in the air and unfortunately died.
Yeah, we're getting a load of deaths come out now as we're getting towards the higher level of keys. We're going to have to see some people really start to lower them. And I'll give you a bit more of a score rundown in 10 minutes when we hit the hour mark, like a proper newscaster. But it would be nice. Let's see if we could see perhaps the bottom right. Absolutely massive friends. We haven't seen this dungeon before. Not today anyway. What a transition, Jay, on our production. That was smooth as anything. They are dragging him round here on the Brackenhide +6 and making sure they're in combat the whole time. Although Brackenhide is the interrupt affix, as we have a cast just stopped at the end there with the Dragon's Breath and stopped again, as they really don't want this affix to pop up.
No, this team are taking this affix very, very seriously, as well they should on a +6. And we're looking at obviously the reverse UI from this Windwalker Monk, who is doing their best to hit them with a flurry of shots and make sure no casts go off. They're doing pretty well though. And Brackenhide is always one of those dangerous ones, especially that first boss, having to deal with a lot of stuff, very much a healer check. And it looks like they did just fine.
They're doing it. They're doing perfectly well. Once again, Brackenhide is one of my favorite ones as a Destro lock for the bigger pulls. But at the minute, obviously on the lower level keys, as we were talking about actually last time we cast together, Destro lock has a bit of a problem at low level keys because you just have no ramp. So this is possibly why at the beginning we'll see the team with the double ret really do amazingly well, because you can just really cleave through them massively. And as we get higher, maybe we might have a problem with the amount of sustained damage they can do, but we'll see what happens.
And this is where we'll see the Shadow Priest shine as well, with that sort of when mobs survive longer, right? They can sort of ramp up. But the Rets, they're kind of looking for those early points, get as many early points as they can, and maybe it gets a bit difficult for them, but they've already got a lot of points. So it's just different strats from different teams. As we see, Sorry, go.
I was gonna say absolutely, but I know the Rats are really, really good pumpers, shall we say? So they're doing fantastically well in terms of the pure damage numbers. So I'm not really too worried about them, at least until we get into the +10 sort of range, and then maybe we'll get some DPS checks that are a bit too difficult. But I mean, once again, they've just got so much sustain and survivability that most of these affixes shouldn't really be a problem for them.
Exactly, and I enjoy the cover over the health bars with the eyes. That is interesting and scary as well.
Yeah, they're all watching you. It's all on you.
All on you. So this team obviously didn't interrupt, which is why the health bars are covered, and it looks like it potentially could happen again very, very soon. But no, they're doing pretty well. We've got the ring coming out to make sure it doesn't go off, but it did. And unfortunately, it's done again. But this team is working their way through the dungeon. They're doing all right. They are dealing with the affix as best they can.
Yeah, so just so you know, if a cast does go off and you don't see the bars get covered, it's because kicking a cast or stopping it from happening will trigger an immunity to that effect for some time. So it's not like you have to kick absolutely everything in the dungeon, because there are some places where that really would be obnoxious, like where you kick and just recast, kick and recast, and you just end up just not being able to see anything. So we have one here, they let a cast go off, and we'll perhaps see another one go off, but they're already kicked, so they'll have an immunity to the effect for some time. But they're slowly progressing, as we said, on a +6, and I think that it looks like they're going to be comfortably able to get through this.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They're going to come to be able to get through this, and they will be progressing probably a +1, so it's a +7. Although we have here, honestly, getting quite low, but they have been healed back up, and we had the hero popped here as they are on the last boss. Now, this boss could get quite tricky, especially with some of the tentacle affixes and things like that. But this affix they have at the moment, they should be good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And just our wonderful and lovely producer, please don't troll me, showed me yesterday that you absolutely can still, as ranged, stand where those mushrooms are and not get hit by this swirling green circle. You don't have to run around. The basically, let's say the interesting spots towards the back left where those mushrooms are, just north of where they're standing. Yeah, over there, still works, and you can still stand there and just ignore all of the mechanics, like every DPS dreams of.
Yeah, I mean that is the dream, and it's probably why Priest got leap of faith, so that DPS could truly stand still and not have to think about anything. But here they are. They are on. They're doing this pretty well, Co. I'm really impressed so far with our teams. I thought there would be more struggling, but no, these teams are progressing quickly.
Although it looks like they're pretty close to the time, aren't they? I mean, for us watching it as casters, it was quite difficult to tell, but it looks like they're actually getting a minute away, maybe.
Yeah, it's very, very close. It's coming down to a knife's edge. Unfortunately, I can't see the health bar here, but that's fine. As we are looking closely here, I think it's on about 50%. I'm trying to look at his UI as well.
Once again, it's not very caster friendly. We have no idea what's happening. Sorry, guys. As a mob at the back casted, so now everything is blocked.
Everything is blocked again, but it's okay. These teams are working through it. Oh, there we go. Got a little glimpse. I think it's about 40% health left on the boss.
It looks like they might deplete it then. I thought they were going to do it comfortably.
Yeah, I can imagine the chat at the moment is frantically, yelling and screaming, more damage, more dots, more dots. But I don't know. It's ticking, tick, tick, tock. Not long left.
Do you think
that's 7 seconds?
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't think Adam's group is a bunch of screamers, honestly, but it looks like they're going to deplete. Yeah, deplete.
They are. Oh, unfortunately. There's a health percentage next to the bar. Oh, there is. But, yep, unfortunately, it looks like they have depleted. But these things happen. It's okay. They can.
They may as well finish now, but that is a long key to deplete and get 0 score for as well. That's a pretty long time. So once again, the scoring system is if you do a +2 and time it, you get 2 points. Do a +4 and time, you get 4 points. So at the minute, the scores are Roast on 11. Maybe these will get updated as we go through. Man Dude on a 7. Absolutely Massive Friends and Dirty Dave on a 6. And Loud Duck Energy and we PvP'd ourselves both on a 2.
Absolutely, yeah. And we had a screenshot taken just there, we saw. So they are, they're very, very close. Very, very close. Unfortunate. But they're going to just run it back, and they're going to get those points in, I am sure.
Yep, they're fulfilling their duties to report it to our lovely moderating team. And to make sure that everything's done, and we're looking at some more gear.
Exactly. Right, as we are in a bit of a lull as we wait for our next dungeon, I do want to take this opportunity to not only thank our partners, but thank our team at Starship, who is behind the production of today. Jay, Zippy, and also Nikki, our social media Talv, and also Co. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Aw, you remember my name this time rather than the last stream where you said thank you to someone on chat.
Exactly. And then I do want to say though, and thank you to the mods as well in chat. You're all fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And yeah, I'll repeat exactly the same. And thank you to you as well, and your beautiful hair for keeping us through these lonely nights.
What? Oh, yeah, okay. We're now having a look at the Resto Shaman, always a fan favorite, looking at healers. Now, this boss is pretty dangerous, spits out fire, and they do have loud duck energy, however, so they're going to make it through, I'm sure.
Did
So
you just
again,
say Resto Shaman is a fan favorite? Are you sure?
I mean, hey, look, healers in general, okay? They keep everyone alive. They're all favorites.
I mean, they're all wonderful human beings, right? But I don't think Resto Shaman is particularly favored by most people. Most people don't really like playing Resto, I would say, if they have to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think you play it for the class fantasy. You don't play it for meta, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they had their time in the sun. Maybe they will again soon. But we are looking now. Interestingly enough, we've not seen any preservation healers who are quite strong this season. But the true tried and tested Resto is here. I'm so interested in these healing bars being on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, maybe it's just what they've always done.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
used
I
to
don't know. I don't know if they're clicking. Perhaps they just have an MMO mouse and they have like targeting on the side of it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
Maybe that's what they do.
It is interesting to see. That's a cool way of seeing it, though. It's a different way. I'm always up for seeing different ways of people playing the game, as there are many. With the way that WoW is set up, right, with all this UI stuff, you've got such a choice of what you want to do.
Were you ever a clicker? Was there ever a point in WoW's history where you were clicking your spells?
I don't think I've ever, because I started with Star Wars Galaxies when I was about 14, and I just learned back then to keybind everything, and here we are.
Okay.
I've never clicked. Have you?
There's some stuff I used to click, but now most stuff is keybind. It just depends on how often I was using it, because I'd have like 1 to 6 plus some on the mouse, and like when I started back in Classic, then I was trying to use all my spells rather than just casting Shadow Bolt like I should have.
I do want to have a look over at chat here. Your healing said, right before the dungeon, I spilt water all over my desk and had to do the entire dungeon with water dripping onto me. That's a true, I really want to get this done. So, well, congrats from getting through
That's
it.
a proper affix. That's what we should do next. Get everyone in real life and just,
Yeah.
just shoot them in the face with water every now and again.
We have to stand behind you and then just tip water. As Zippy said, SWG, a gamer's game. Exactly. Those that started with Star Wars Galaxies, hey, we were there. We were there right at the beginning with what a great game. Holy moly. Talvi, my first was Guild Wars. Interesting. Guild Wars still going stronger today. That was a good game. Guild Wars 1 was a very cool, special game. My friend made me watch all the cutscenes, though, when we did our playthrough. That was horrific. RuneScape, again, another game still going. It's cool to see where everyone's come from, and we've all ended up right back probably where we were playing WoW. They keep bringing you in, and here we are.
Do you just not watch any cutscenes for any game you play?
0. Yeah.
Nice. Just like really quick on the escape button and skip cinematic.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast escapes, because I appreciate the really high quality, cinematics, etc. The things that Riot Games put out, and also Blizzard with their expansion stuff. But in game, yeah, I need the loot. I need to get to the next thing to get the loot.
Do you know what's happening in the WoW universe? Like anything at all?
There's a sword.
There are dragons like in different places.
Yeah, no, I've no idea. However, we killed a big dragon who I think was trying to hurt us, and then Yeah. And then we just killed another dragon who was trying to hurt us.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, that's all I really know. Looking down here at chat, we've got here Gil was one. Recently, it's still great. Yeah, I do want to try all the old MMOs again. I think it'll be a fun time. Cutscenes are the best bit. Holy moly. Yeah, great company. They have developing it. Well, hey, we are here for our MDY. And again, if the screen blinds you, you're not going to be able to see the cutscenes. Maybe I should use this affix permanently.
Possibly, but talking about being blinded, we have both been blinded to the scores and what's been happening in the games, as Mandude have now taken the lead on 13 points as they managed to time their previous key, meaning Roast in second with 11, Ty for third, Absolutely Massive Friends and Dirty Dave, the Muckers, on a 6, as we saw Absolutely Massive Friends just deplete the key, which would have put them into a convincing third place, even into a second, actually, if it was a +6.
Yeah.
So they unfortunately just missed out, and let's get somewhat back to the action, as much as it is lovely to be shooting the breeze with you on this fine evening.
Exactly. Yeah, there is a lot happening in game. As we're looking at the top left, lots of dangerous things happening. The screen is bright white. We have a death as well, which is super bad for the Dirty Daves. But looking around the screen here, we've got a team who is heading to a new dungeon, as well as teams over on the right who are pushing their way through and trying to get those points. This is the red team code that we were talking about before, really pushing hard. Mandude, who are up there, right? I believe, as you just said, they're sitting at first place because they're really pushing as hard as they can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They are doing fantastically well, and we've still got some time left now. How long do we have left until we're calling it exactly?
I believe we have 55 minutes left.
55 minutes left, so it's getting really now to the time of what 2 keys remaining, if depending how fast they're doing it. 2 or 3 left, so now it's decision time.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Keys do you do?
And I think this is something to note. We probably will give our teams, those that have access to our teams chat, we'll get them a warning, probably a 50-minute warning in 4 minutes, just to let them know, so that they can prepare accordingly to try and get those points in. But we do have a Dirty Dave completion up in the top left, a 4, as they are now going to push even more. I do wonder, if some of these players haven't yet done this level of high keys. And this is their first time jumping into it. What do you think about that?
I know for a fact that the guys who are pushing the higher level absolutely have done them before. So that you'll see like Mandude and Roast, who are really quite far in the lead at the minute, but obviously liable to change, have done these before. I've done them even with them and talked to them about them. The second tier of Dirty Dave and Absolutely Massive Friends, perhaps this would be the first time as being this high up, so maybe the muscle memory isn't quite there to be able to handle everything that the new affixes are throwing at them. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have a surprise or two up their sleeves, and we're just waiting for everyone to then update us with the most recent scores, because I think we have a bit of lag in scoring. But it does actually kind of seem like if you just run +4s the whole time, then you might just have been walking away with this evening.
Potentially. And then that's what I talked about. There's a little bit of meta within the tournament here of like, which keys do you do? Do we do harder ones for higher points, or do we stick with that middle ground and just try and do as many as we can? And different teams are doing different things, and it's really good to see the spread here. As Roast in the top right, there's a death coming through on their team. Looking at that Shadow Priest again. Maybe they'll put the pool in a nicer spot for the team this time. Maybe not. We'll be able to see right now that Hunter. I know you talked about this as well, The Hunter really kicking out a lot of damage, which is super good to see. As well as that Mistweaver, trying to keep everyone nice and topped, nice and fresh. But the Blood DK, as always, 100% health, 100% shield, almost. Just kicking it.
Well, absolutely. But every time we go to this comp, it seems like the priest gets cocooned as we're watching. So maybe they're getting nervous as they're watching the screen. This looks like a much better placement. Or they might end up ranging themselves. So they're going to run through those, but they manage to do it safely, as it is a lower key.
Yeah.
Perhaps we used to soak up those, and we've got plenty of room
One really good thing though for these teams is I'm looking at the Shadow Priest now. They have access to massive healing. They have access to PI, many other fantastic cooldowns which have just popped now. So lots of damage will be able to come through as fast as possible, and they'll be able to help the team with all sorts of fun things. Really great utility class as well. I'm big fan. I never really was a big fan of Shadow Priest, Co, but I'm more and more becoming a fan.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same situation as you. That Shadow Priest, especially as things slowly got reworked, has become a lot more interesting for me in the last couple of expansions, not in terms of patches. Especially, I mean, I still probably have in my mind how things used to be in Classic and TBC and Wrath, as that's what I was playing mainly, right? So
Yep.
the kind of, let's say, more OG classes are what I naturally orientate to. But we'll see what happens, and perhaps even if Drakthir gets unlocked, maybe Drakthir Warrior is is what gets played going forwards for me, because I do think that I'll stop here though, as we seem to be having some issues.
Yep, this is really massive. We've got the team here being knocked out, and there, as you said, you wanted. We've got the "You Died" screen over the eye mask. Yeah.
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah. So this team, they took a bit of a big pull there, and it looks like they couldn't really get through it, but that's okay. They're going to regroup. Oh no, they've got the blinding. Oh, we're looking over at the blinding light team here. Well, unfortunately, we have a death that came through on that priest, but that's okay. It looks like potentially they'll be able to kill the boss. It's on about 10% health. It really is a bit crazy here when the lights are bright. If you're watching this in bed, we're sorry. Do you know what I mean? You're all wrapped up nice and cozy, and you're getting flashbanged, but that's okay. Sunday night, flashbang night.
Flashbanged in bed.
Yeah. Yep.
But it looks like they do actually have. They do have. Right, well, we've both been disorientated ourselves here. It looks like they do have 2 deaths, but they are going to be able to finish off. It's just a question then of the timer, as we just about hit through that flashbang and see that it's on about 5% health.
Yep, absolutely, on about 5% health, and they need to do this in time. I think it's really important, especially for ROAST, to be able to get this in time, because they're not going to get first place if they're losing this. But it looks like they're going to do it. +1, which is absolutely fabulous for them. And to be honest, it's the best outcome to get a +1. You don't really want a +2, +3, these type of keys, because it's just going to get infinitely harder. And with only 49 minutes left, they don't want it to be too hard, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can just go and obviously lower your keys. I mean, the real thing to do if you were doing meta, like if we were doing, let's be honest, then you would just try and farm the same key. You just try and find that one key, get everyone to get that key the day before or whatever. Make sure you have that all loaded up, the quickest one possible on, let's say, on a +2. You just go and absolutely finish that, smash that one out, and then you want to try and find the group that you do the quickest key possible. You don't want to get in a situation where you spend 37 minutes on a Brackenhide for no points.
Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of things to think about. These teams need to problem solve in the moment, but I'm sure they'll be just fine. I know a couple of these players from raiding, and they are quite quick thinkers in general. So that's good to see that the teams that the teams can do this. So, Co, talk to me about Season 4 and potentially a little bit about what your goals are. I don't know about you, but I have sort of maybe I want to do this season, or I want to progress this. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, so I mean, going into Season 4, I think for me, the main things that I want to do would be making sure that my Destro lock is kept up to date. I mean, I don't really end up doing all that much Mythic Plus, but I really do want to. I mean, I really enjoy it quite a lot. Raiding probably isn't something that I'm going to get into that much. I think having to set aside a specific amount of time per week on a specific day just doesn't really work for me. My old man schedule, shall we say. But yeah, getting into Mythic Plus with a couple of characters, or less, probably more realistically one, and then getting into 2's arena more and more, possibly with you, who knows, will end up being what I end up going towards. But filling your vault every week is what we really want to do, as we have a donation, 25 £100 to Safe in Our World. I don't know if
Wow.
that's DR Colin or Dr. Colin. I'm not quite sure how to say that, but thank you very much. Yeah, fantastic. And call to donate for everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really generous. Thank you. I'm going to call you the Doctor. The Doctor has arrived and landed with some wonderful support. Wow. Everyone's so generous. Do you know what? We've had... It just really shows the community, right, Co? People have been so generous with all these sorts of things. So it's fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say the more the merrier. Was go full Bob Geldof there and ask for people's money, but I'm not going to. Yeah, no, obviously the more that we can give to the charity, the better. And we do this purely voluntarily at the minute. And we love putting on events and hopefully putting a smile on people's faces as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But hey, we've got the top left corner here. We've got another blinding light coming out on Dave's screen. I'm sure he is, trying his best to find some mobs to hit. But it looks like I'm just trying to see through the cracks.
I think he is as well. I'm pretty sure he's just spinning around trying to find something at the minute.
Yeah. He is. He's just trying to find something, and I'm sure they will very, very soon. We've just had another link in chat. Of course, the Discord and socials, they are available. Do connect with us because we're going to run many, many tournaments like this where you could win hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of prizes. As tonight, our first place prize is the Epic Edition of The War Within, the Epic Edition of Cataclysm. Then you're going to get some great goodies from Zygor. They're giving 6 months worth of premium Zygor, and you'll be able to use that all the way through the War Within beginning of the expansion. And then, of course, we've got some incredible artwork that you'll be able to put up on your wall. I know, Co, up on that wall, having that staring at you, that'd be great, wouldn't it? So there's so many fun goodies we're giving out, and that's just first place. Second, third, also some great stuff. That's all to play for this evening, and we've got some teams who are really, really close.
Yeah, we've got some back and forth going on. We haven't covered it today, so I'm just going to go over some of the comps just to make it absolutely clear. Let's start and do scores at the same time. So in first place we have Roast at the minute on 16, who are running a Blood DK Shadow Priest, Mistweaver Monk, BM Hunter, and Fire Mage, which is a pretty strong comp, as you were saying previously. Mandude then on 13 with a Vengeance DH, which I suspected would be meta. Mistweaver Monk again, a double Rep Paladin, and a BM Hunter again. And then following up that, we have absolutely massive friends who are running a Windwalker Frost, Monk's very popular, Blood DK, Resto Shaman, as we've seen previously this evening, and a Havoc DH. Dirty Dave and the Muckers, who are running a Brewmaster, the only one from this evening. Holy Priest, Frost Mage, again, wow, but more popular than I thought. Fury Warrior and an Outlaw Rogue. Outlaw's proving to be very popular, but difficult to play. Loud Duck Energy, I'm so careful when I say that, with a Shadow Priest, Resto Shaman, Ret, Protection Warrior, and another BM Hunter, and then popping up the rear, we PvP'd ourselves, who are running a Demo Lock, love to see it, Prop Pally, Balance Druid, Rat Pally, and another Restoration Shaman.
There's so many things you said in there that we shouldn't unpack. I've heard, I saw as well from chat that we have Survival, not BM. Interesting. I thought it was BM too.
Yeah. Well, in which case I'm completely wrong. I apologize, and that is another spec that is notoriously difficult to play, at least in PvP. I know.
It's a similar thing in keys, just because having that movement of a BM is super important, especially in higher keys. But that's really cool to see the survival out. I know a lot of people really, really love survival. Like, they have so much fun with it, and they'd rather play that than anything else. So that's good to see that it is represented here today. All those team comps sound varied in a way. I know I talked about there's one comp particular that's quite meta, but generally people are just playing what they really love to play. And I think that's something really great about these competitions. You don't have to have that cutting edge whatever. You can just play what you love with your friends, and that's a really fun thing to see. But of course, with tentacles and blinding affixes, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it just makes it even more special if you're able to get it. Unfortunately, there's nothing else we can give them in terms of in-game stuff, but they have a massive varied selection of prizes that they can get through. So, I mean, we're giving them something, but as long as they win, right? So that's the that's the risk and reward that they take for participating in these tournaments. As we have the blinding affix come out for Loud Duck Energy, you have to make sure you find the right bit of the platform to get across.
Yep, and it looks like they're going to be just okay, right? They're going to grab that as soon as possible and start getting to combat. They're pretty much good to go.
Yeah, and everyone else is currently slamming things in combat as well. I don't think we have anyone towards the end of a key that we can go to, unless I'm wrong. Just waiting at the minute to see if we have anything from absolutely massive friends, if they've managed to complete this key. It looks like they've gone down to a +4 though at the bottom left, which might not have been the way to go given how much they need to catch up with. Maybe they've just decided that third is going to be the place for them. So we're going to have 2 races going on for first and second, gone back and forth constantly throughout tonight between Mandude and Roast. And then for third place, Absolutely Massive Friends and Dirty Dave and the Muckers, who are both on the 6, and it's getting pretty close to the end.
Ooh. Oh, unfortunately, a Rep Pally went down, but you're right. It's getting really, really juicy between all these teams. They're back and forwards, up and down, and it could really be anyone's game as we are running probably into their last keys after this one as the timer is ticking.
Yeah, absolutely. So the timer, once again, is an absolutely hard timer. So once we get to that time, it doesn't matter if you've got 2 seconds left on the boss, you're finishing that key. Obviously, we're going to have some bit of stream delay, so we're going to have to find that out and make sure we are absolutely on point with that. But this looks like a +6, and it looks like they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a death or 2, but that's okay. Things happen. Casts get through, but they just recover really well. And I think that really is a mark of a good team. It's in the recovery. We've moved on here to the tentacles, and a lot of tentacles and a lot of mobs, and it looks like they're CCing them correctly here.
Yeah, so this custom affix might not have seemed like the most challenging one, just having these small tentacles appear all over your screen, but it is distracting. Having them all go out, as we said, if they've got, perhaps for those, let's say, in-game abilities where you have like small splashes on the floor, then these tentacles can actually cover those. And you really got to be a bit more wary of what's going on. Make sure you're moving your camera a lot and not getting distracted. Really trying to peer through them, which is a lot harder to do while playing. And
exactly. And as you said, Ko, for you, I know tentacles will be really distracting. So it's really an affix that you've got to manage them and sort of mitigate as many of them as you can, even though you may enjoy it. So these teams have really done a good job here of trying to get as least amount of tentacles as possible as they move on to this boss.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, let's compliment Zippy, because there's only so much you can do in terms of weak auras. It all has to be visual. Nothing can interact with game mechanics or your spells. You can't take things away from people. It's just purely visual. So all of them that he's come up with and worked on is really a great show of creativity as much as anything else. And let's go back to the action here as fire is spreading all over the place.
Fire going everywhere as these teams are trying really, really hard to get this boss down as fast as possible. We're looking at a +4 Neltharis as they're on this boss. It's really important that this team get a win here. Their screen is filling with tentacles all the time, but they must stay focused and on track as the boss is about 60% health at the moment. Of course, we are looking at the upside down UI, so do pardon me as you look at those health bars. But remember, when the bar fills up with color, that's not good. So you want to keep that as dark as possible, as these teams are doing pretty well doing that. The boss now is taking some decent damage from this team. They're going to look to try and vanquish it as fast as possible. But hey, this screen's getting crazy at the minute. Those eyes are popping out and those tentacles are they're wriggling everywhere.
You know what I find really strange about his affix is that all his player bars, their health is reversed, but the mob bars, it's the same. So for the mobs, the health goes down to mean they're dying. If the players, the bar goes up to show that they're dying. Like, how is that not confusing? Like, if it all went the same way, there'd be some justification for it. Right?
Yeah. But hey, I'm sure it's like me with QWE. He's just been playing with it forever, and here we have it. This is kind of wild at the moment. We're down to about 40%, edging toward 30. I think they'll be able to do it, and they'll be able to progress. But this is going to get real tricky as they get higher up, especially with those tentacles flailing around.
well, they really need to finish this because of the points. So this is the team who's probably playing for third place. They're on equal score with Dirty Dave. They're 1 point ahead of Loud Duck Energy. They need to finish this key because chances are one of the other two teams are going to be able to finish 2 more keys, the one they're on now and another. They cannot fail this key and then also hope to come third. So if you're just obviously tuning in, the score system is doing 2 chests, 3 chesting a key, doesn't matter. You finish a +2 in time, 2 points. Finish a +4 in time, 4 points. And obviously this is the new season, so a +4 is a 14, +5 is a 15, etc., etc.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely wild times. These teams are really pushing hard to get those prizes, to get on that podium. And I'm sure we're coming down now to like the last dungeon they're going to be able to do after this. So they really do need to potentially they need to try and +3 whatever they're on, so they get the highest chance of points going forward.
Well, I mean, the thing is, but it looks like everyone's just about hang on with the lowest possible amount of life. I mean, that's, I mean, if you +3 or not, it makes no real difference. You can just go and lower your key, right, in Valdrakken, so it's not going to be the worst possible thing that happens. Maybe it takes.
No, but as in maybe they want to do the +3 to get the more points in the next one. Yeah.
Well, if they want to take the risk, that would be fantastic from a casting point of view, but maybe not the best solution for them specifically.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I still have very, very good memories of our first race to World Worst together, seeing the split run right at the end. That was quite something and exciting.
Yeah, it was very exciting, but I'm sure these top 2 teams are quite close. It's on a knife's edge really between Man Dude and Roast. They really are going to be 1 and 2, I think, at this point. And it's good to see their last run as we get into it. But now we're looking at the Resto Shaman as they're on this boss, trying to down it as fast as possible. They've had a couple of close calls, which has, almost wiped the team, but it looks like they're going to absorb some of those balls. As this is a running theme with Blizzard, isn't it, really?
I think it's a running theme with your mind more than anything else. We'll call them spheres. How about
spheres? That? Spheres sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to dodge the spheres, which perhaps doesn't quite sound as doesn't roll off the tongue quite as much, but it saves us from any innuendo as the sphere comes in here.
Yeah, and he gets blasted by it. Right, so they've had lots of ups and downs in this fight, which has been quite interesting to watch. The health bars are really jumping to 1%, 100%, 1%, 100%. But the boss is, I believe, on about 10%, trickling down as much as possible. And this is a +4, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's +4. Although going to see a quote unquote normal UI after seeing the last one is giving me some whiplash slightly. It was not as much whiplash as that gave to their health bars, but they just managed to hang on. And it looks like they're going to have one boss left if they've gone the normal route, and they've kind of went backwards. So now they've got to fight their way across the bridge, and they should only have one boss left for Loud Duck Energy, which is going to put them in third, all the way from 5th.
Yeah, and we are really at a knife's edge, everyone. It's coming down now to the last dungeon for these teams. They probably won't have time to do another one after, so they've really got to put a lot into this to get it timed and also do a key that they think will get them on the podium. Now, it's a really dodgy time, and I think these teams have done a really good job to get to this point, but now it's focus time. 30 minutes left on the timer. Let's see what they can come out with.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. This is getting really down to the wire now. We've got two different races going on. Pretty much everyone is still in it with a chance out of the original 6 teams of winning something. Yeah. And it's now just a case of what do you do? Do you deplete your key a few times, lower it to make sure you get something done, or do you just go for the risk, manage to do a +6, and then maybe time something smaller as well? There's so many decisions that you have to make just on the fly here as to what you think is going to get you the winning time, as we have basically going to finish on the next full hour, so in about 31 minutes from now. So you don't really have that much time to play with.
Yeah, no time for anyone to go away, get a beer, go to the toilet. You sit down, glued to the screen for the next 30 minutes as we're looking at these teams coming down the home straight. Mandude, of course, is one of those teams that they don't want to lose that lead. They don't want to lose first place. So they're really going to try hard here not to do anything silly. Whereas you've got the other side of the bracket. You've got the other teams that just need to make smart decisions, super, super smart decisions, maybe even get, 3-4 points. Does that tip you to third place? Does that make sure that you're all going to get that, addition of War Within? We all really want that, right? We want to be prepared for the next expansion, and this tournament can help a couple of players do that. So hopefully they can survive, especially this boss here. We're on a +6, and they've killed it. Good job,
Yeah.
Mandude.
Absolutely. So that, as you're saying, that one there that we just watched has put Mandude in the lead on the +6. Previously, they were 3 points behind. Now they're 3 points in front of Roast. So that's Mandude with 19, Roast with 16. Absolutely massive friends. Dirty Dave both on 6, Loud Duck Energy with 5, and we PvP'd ourselves on a 2. So it's gonna probably come down to an issue of timing between Roast and Mandude. What can you squeeze in to the next half an hour?
Yep. And this is where calculations come in, right, Co? Which dungeons are actually quicker, and then the key level on top of that. You need to sort of do some quick math and think, what can we actually achieve here in this time?
Yeah, I think we should go and have a look at what Roast are doing, because they're going to have to respond more immediately here to what Mandude have done, as they are coming up to... I hate this boss so much. As going up to the next
you have
boss
to
in the
move.
dungeon. Yeah, absolutely, have to move around, which isn't my comfort zone. But it doesn't look like they're close to the end of the dungeon, though, does it?
This is going to be really, really tricky for them. They have to finish this, and then they have to find, maybe even throw a +2 in. Maybe deplete it all the way down and just try and get a few points.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out after watching this what Mandude have chosen to do as their next key. If they're going to do another +6. So if they do another +6 and they get it in half an hour, then these guys, if they're blundering a +6, if they finish, they're going to have to do a +4. That will put them roughly in the same sort of area. Maybe they'll do it quicker. Maybe then it comes down to timing. You've really got to pull a lot. It's getting to that decision now where they're going to be also thinking about this while playing the game at the same time. And will that also make any mistakes for them?
Exactly, and everyone who's watching, this is what the evening has come down to. Neck and neck at the top of the table, but also neck and neck for that third place as well. There's so many different great storylines here that we're going to follow, but we're seeing the teams drop really, really low there, but it looks like they were able to get up very, very quickly. They can't see the health bar. They need to interrupt. They need to make sure that this affix stays off for as much as possible. I believe there's a lot of pressure now. A lot of pressure is going to be on this team, particular, if they really want to hit that first place. Oh, exciting times, and I'm happy that we're doing it and we're seeing it on a Shadow Priest.
All the different points of view, yeah. I mean, you're going to have this thing of when you go through the evening and then you look back, you almost followed that round there. You almost followed the frontal around. That would have been a very unlucky way to go. Apparently, Mandude, I've been told, are starting a 6. They're just going to go for a 6. They feel comfortable with it, which would put them 9 points ahead. If this is a 6, then obviously the next one has to be a 3. They've got to hurry up. I know they're listening.
Yep. They've really got to hurry up. This is worrying for them. This is really worrying, but I think they can do it. I do believe in them. I think they can pull forward. But this is where, as a healer, I'm just going in. I'm doing as much damage as possible. I'm saying to the rest of the team, just look after yourselves. We need to get through this. But they've defeated the boss, and they're going to head through to the next point as fast as possible. A lot of things happening at the moment, Co. This is where you see really how sweaty people are. Are they going to be dripping with too much sweat? Yeah.
I think they probably would be. I mean, if this was... You could say the other thing they could do would be to change spec, because he goes pretty low, to change spec and maybe run without a healer for a low key, just try and absolutely smash through it, running a Shadow Priest as an off healer to try and catch up. But it does look like really Mandude might be on a bit of a victory lap with a +6 unless something goes really wrong with it.
Yeah, but that's right. You're completely right, Co. If Mandude head into a +6 and something goes drastically wrong, they don't finish it in time, this Roast team could potentially find their way to number 1. So they need to have a clean run now, They need to jump in, as you said, to a 2 or a 3 or 4 and no healer it if they can. Maybe they won't. Maybe they're just not comfortable doing that, but maybe they could try it and just try and blast it as fast as they can.
Well, let's go through the iterations, right? So Roast here are doing a +6, which will put them 3 points ahead of Mandude, who are doing a 6 now. Right, so it's a case of then they would have to run a 3 to draw. So then it was like, do you run a 3 to draw? Do you risk it and go for a 4 to win? What are the different iterations of that? What is more comfortable for you to do? And also from a caster point of view, how the hell do we settle the draw?
Yeah, we have to have that conversation. I'm sure we'll figure that out at the time, but I think potentially you just look for the draw because you've got more of a chance to do it. But they could also just be Giga Chad, hey, we want to go for the win. But unfortunately, they've pulled some extra packs and the healer's gone down. Looks like the priest has gone down as well. This is absolutely crazy for them. They need to be able to stabilize, but it looks like they're not going to be able to. They're getting one person up, but it looks like the tank is also fallen as well. And this is...
But if they time this right, they might be able to take the res and mass res, but you've got
the
patrol
but the
coming.
bear. So they need to just... They need to really take a deep breath and just say, okay, this has gone wrong, but it's fine. Let the patrol go. We'll handle it from here. Let's see what happens. Ooh.
Yeah, this is the worst possible time. Perhaps
Right.
this is things.
This is where you
now.
res fade. Fade. Ooh. Fade. Oh no!
Into ads.
Oh no! They didn't fade, unfortunate, but that's okay. It looks like they're going to run back as fast as possible, and they're going to be able to try and get through this. The time is 25 minutes on the clock they've got left. If they can get this done in 10 minutes, they just need to really blast the next dungeon. I don't know, Ko. This is hard.
I mean, now it's all going to be about... I mean, this is really an interesting one of... If you were in the dungeon as Mandude and a +6, having seen them wipe here, would you just go and tank your key to a lower one and make sure you get something?
I see what you're saying.
Would you just leave the key right now? Say, we're just going to do a +3, and if they do or a +4, and if they do something, then okay.
I think that decision would have been made when they wiped, but now they're too far in. I think it could have been a thing of dropping it, doing it quickly, and then doing another one, but they're committed now, right? So...
No, I mean, obviously for Mandude, who only started like 5 minutes ago, and then you +6.
Oh, I see.
If you see Roast wipe here, and you know...
just get... Yeah. Just get any points, right? Just get any points, even if it's... Yeah, I'd do that.
Well, we have the teams watching, so we'll have to see what they come up with. Perhaps if we can leave these guys on this boss and head over to Mandude to see how they're doing, if they're fully stable, and if they're doing their +6, and if it's like a +6 victory lap, or if not, they have 2 deaths. First
oh
boss.
My goodness. 2 deaths. This is big, though. As I said before, previously, this boss is one of those that's actually quite difficult. Another death coming out now because a lot of damage comes out. And if your healer's not 100%, or the team, in fact, is not 100% prepared for that damage to come through, it's really, really tricky. But they are kind of stabilizing. The boss is on about 10% health, so they'll be just fine, I'm sure. But you're right, Ko.
Be really, really close to call. If they, if they finish it, and it's going to be right on the edge of if they, well, they have to finish it on the timer. They've got how long left? Like 25 minutes. There's pretty much 25 minutes left in the event in total. So they either basically finish this or not, obviously, as things would go. But it's either they're not going to have another chance after this.
No,
this is going to be it for them.
This is going to be it for them. You're right, and I think they should drop it. But it looks like they're going full force to complete this dungeon. They're heading up with the dragons to the sort of gauntlet, the circle gauntlet, to grab all those mobs and then get to the boss. This next boss, though, spheres come out. I was going to say balls. But the spheres do come out in this next boss, which are very, very deadly. And of course, the fire on the ground isn't pleasant either. So we'll see how they handle it. They handled the last one pretty well. I know a couple of deaths came through, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is always a bit of a horrible one. I remember this from season 1, I believe, when you have to be quite careful with how you're pulling. You don't want to pull too much, as we saw for Roast. You might have someone pull from the back, and that +6 is it's not nothing. It really is not nothing. As old 16 with this level of gearing, it's
Yep.
really getting down to the wire here of who's going to actually win. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful. Hey, yeah. So we're having chat here. I'm having a quick peek. Dr. Colin says Dirty Dave wins on the logo for sure, and that is something that I'm sure we'll point out near the end here. That Dirty Dave's logo is truly magnificent, but they are in fact trying very hard to get to that third place, as we do have these two different packs, right, Co? We've got the front runners, and then we've got that third place group who are trying their best to solidify some prizes.
well, we're staying with the fight for first and second, but the fight for third place is equally as
Yes.
hot, as Absolutely Massive Friends are on a 10. Apparently, Dirty Dave and the Muckers have also completed a 4, which would put them on a 10. They just need to make sure they send that to Jay and not to me. And then Loud Duck Energy finished one as well, which puts them on the 9. So they're all going into the next one with, let's say, 22 minutes left or so from when they entered. Just who finishes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, two big sort of points of view we're looking at: first and second, and also that third place. It's really down to the wire. I wasn't quite sure if it would be that. I thought maybe a team would run away and then it would be clear cut, but no. The competition is fierce here at the MDY, our Mythic Dungeon Invitational. We're brought to you by Starship Community, a wonderful community where we put on events like this all the time. So do head over to the Discord and be a part of this. If you want to do this in the future and have some really cool different affixes and different ways to play the game to really challenge you. This next boss is going to be a bit of a dodgy one, I think, as we are looking at the points of views for the rest of the teams. Mandude at the top, absolutely massive. Yep. And then we've got Loud Duck Energy and Roast. These teams are at a knife's edge.
Yeah, having Mandude and Roast on the same screen is super nice with 20 minutes left, but also having Loud Duck Energy, Absolutely Massive Friends. We're just missing one more for the whole complete set, which unfortunately we won't be able to fit onto one screen, but we're just watching health bars bounce around the place here for all the teams.
And I'm sure we'll have a peek at them as the timer does wind down. We've got a good 20 minutes left as these teams are battling it out. It's curious to see if any different types of advancements have happened with the teams, if they've thought, hey, let's lower this key, let's do this, let's do that. But it seems like people are just cracking on with it, and they're just doing as much as they can, as quickly as they can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited. I'm just really excited to watch this. This is getting really close to the end. And also, we've got some deaths at the bottom right for Roast.
Oh. One thing I do want to point out is Absolutely Massive Friends are sitting in a +2. So they're thinking, hey, we just need to finish this as fast as possible and get some extra points. I like that adaptation. I think that's what we need to see.
Yeah, so we're Absolutely Massive Friends. If they do a 2, which would mean Loud Duck Energy would need to do a 3. I can't see what they're actually currently running at the top right. And then Dirty Dave and the Muckers would then have to beat a +2. So we're looking for a +3 in that case from Loud Duck Energy and a +2 from Dirty Dave in order to equal Absolutely Massive Friends.
It's a +2. They're running a +2. Loud Duck Energy.
In which case they're just going to gamble on the other two not being able to complete.
Yep. That's wild. That is wild. Gambling on your opponent's downfall. Holy moly. But this is what it comes to. Sometimes you've got to have that stroke of luck. Of course, skill, talent, brain power comes in, but luck is definitely there. And these teams, they're trying hard, but it looks like we had a death. Duck Energy.
And Mandude as well had another one come through. Their timer's getting pushed back by all those deaths. If you had to call it now, who are you calling?
I'm calling Roast, because I think the last part of this dungeon for Mandude's going to be real hard.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe their comp and their skill will get them through this, but how they've struggled in the first half means I think I'd go for Roast as well. They just need to make sure they finish and time this one as well, which isn't going to be as easy as perhaps we thought. We're given the full wipe and the other death, and
it's just
be a case of if they finish it or not.
It's going to be absolutely crazy. Now, if you're watching out there, you're sitting down, sipping your tea, I do want you to have a look at top left here, Man Dude, and bottom right, Roast. They're now neck and neck. We've got top left on the second last boss and bottom right, Roast on the last boss. They just need to not make a mistake as they do hit the boss here. Of course, the DK coming out with that massive shield. The healer doesn't really need to worry about that. They need to make sure they play these mechanics absolutely perfectly. Roast here on the bottom right. They've got the ad coming out. They need to kill it as fast as possible. Unfortunately, they didn't interrupt, but that's okay. It looks like it's down very quickly. Everyone needs to, in sync, rotate around, make sure you get enough damage out, and kill that ad as fast as possible. Oh, Roast back up there in the top right corner. Do keep your eyes glued on top left, top right. This is really, really important because these are our front runners. Roast looks like they're doing such a great job, though, and not getting tapped by this damage coming out. Top left, though, Co, I do want to pinpoint that potentially a one-shot could come out on this boss. People could just get wiped out real fast.
As we're about to get knocked up straight into it. Oh, just managed to roll out of it as well. That double roll really coming in real handy there. As he got knocked up halfway through the first one, having the second one really came in handy. As we can see, the timer is like more than halfway towards the end of being able to actually finish this in time, as well as 15 minutes in real life time to finish them.
Yeah, absolutely. And as looking at the top left, top right, the affixes are also exactly the same. So they're on the sort of same playing field in terms of affixes. But it looks like Roast are going to take this boss out. It's down to about 40% health, but everyone's health did drop low, but they got it back up very quickly. The monk is very prepared to be able to help those health bars. And of course, the priest giving a hand as well. The priest does have access to that AoE heal still if they need it, but it looks like they'll be just fine. Top left here, the boss is also down to about 30% as they are cranking that away. I think, Co, this is going to come down to watching Mandude for the last 10 minutes to see if they can complete the dungeon, because I think Roast they've just roasted it, you know?
It seems like it is going to be watching. The Roast looks like they're going to come through finish this. We're just going to put them on a 3-point lead if they finish this as a +6, which I believe they're going to, which means do you then basically jump out 15 minutes? Can you do +3 in 15 minutes?
It's a hard one.
You're going to have to give it a go, though. Why not? Pull absolutely massive, see what you can do. It's only a +3. Maybe they've got some extra pieces of gear. Maybe they get the perfect dungeon for them on a +3. But as the boss goes down for Mandude, as they run on to the next one, maybe we can get a full screen of them and watch what they're doing, as it looks like Roast have finished.
Yeah, Roast are pretty much done here. They've got to deal with the last ad, and then the boss is smooth sailing. But looking at Mandude in the top left corner, this is going to be something we're going to take a close look at as we dive further into seeing if they can complete the dungeon. Now, the next pull in the next room is going to be really, really tricky. They're going to have to grab quite a lot and make sure they can sustain everyone up. I remember back in the day when this first came out, it was a bit of a killer if you're not prepared for it. Lots of damage coming out at the moment, but the healer has done a really great job at keeping everyone up. So if we can get a full screen of Mandude, and then we can watch as they complete this dungeon. And here they are. So we've got the double ret we were talking about earlier. Super, super good early on, as they can deal a lot of damage and quite easily. And they've got a lot of off healing and all sorts of other things, which is really, really fantastic. But this is tricky. Especially this area here going into the last boss and the last boss itself. We saw some damage come out here, but it looks like they're going to be just okay. A lot of pressure on the Mistweaver, a lot of pressure to keep everyone up, but of course they can just spin to win, Co.
Yeah, this is where the real nerves come out now. You don't want to misplay it. You cannot really afford a full wipe with this amount of time left and this amount of time on your actual Mythic Plus timer. But they look like they're going to finish this pack off. It's just now about making sure you take a breath, clean execution on the boss, and they'll be 3 points ahead, waiting then for the response of Roast, who I'm sure are absolutely going to try and fly through a key. These guys, I don't think will have the time to do a +3, so it's all going to be waiting around to see as the damage goes out. They all full back health, more mobs come in, and really is getting quite tight here. Massive AoE, those rets making light work of those ads that come in, not really that much health, and they're going to take a breath here, look at the boss, they have some time, they're not going to be able to do another one after this, so you may as well slow this down, take a breath, and make sure this gets finished. You have to make sure this gets finished.
Yeah. And as you said, there's 13 minutes left on the timer, and they've got roughly 13-ish minutes left on the timer in-game. So take it steady, take it slow, and they are doing that. They're doing just that. And I can imagine the comms are, hey, everyone, calm down, calm. We can do this. We just need to play it slowly, make sure cooldowns are available, and we're talking to each other. That's one of the things I've seen with these bigger teams, right, Code? They're good at communicating. Hey, I'm Mistweaver. I've got no cooldowns left. Hey, can you give me a hand with this? Can you do this? I think it's all necessary here.
I think also they've chosen the absolute perfect dungeon for them. It's nice and quick, absolutely perfect for them, and they've got a Vengeance Demon Hunter, which means that this affix, pretty much this custom affix of having the blindfold isn't going to be as impactful because they can just use those AOE stops. They have some rets to help them. They can really use the sigils perfectly, and they're going to get through this pack, and it's just going to be the boss left standing between them and taking a 3-point lead, and it's going to be over to Roast.
Yep, exactly. And the boss is about to ignite the RP here before they can pull the boss, and everyone's stabilizing. They do have time. They're eating, drinking, getting prepared, make sure their pots are ready, they're flasked, they're all good to go. And there's the boss. They're going to go on it very, very hard. And looking at chat over here, we've got every pumping. We've got they're pumping. Yes, they are pumping. They are making sure that they can get this boss done. But this is going to be still hard. This is going to still be difficult. If they stand in the wrong spot, if they make a mistake, then it all could kind of fall apart, right? So this Mistweaver, a lot of pressure, a lot of sweaty backs as we head here into the last section of this fight. I wonder if Roast are really going to bring something interesting once we're out of this dungeon. I'd be curious to see. But yeah, it's just absolutely crazy at the moment.
It looks like they're doing the right thing. It looks like that even though they're concentrating as well as wanting to do high levels of DPS, they're really looking for that dragon. They must be saying, look for where it is. It's the only thing that's going to harm us now. There's nothing else we can do. We're going to time this if we play this well. Let's get out, get far away, don't take any risks as it goes really low.
Oh my goodness, that was close. Oh my goodness, that was so close. But it looks like they survived. It's okay. You're not dead, right? If you've got 1 HP left. So it's absolutely crazy. Okay, so it looks like that Roast are potentially doing another one. We'll get confirmation in just a moment from our producer. I'm sure over on the chat we'll get a little confirmation there. But we are focused here on them completing this boss as fast as possible. Let's see if they can get it done. What do you think is going through their minds at the moment, Ko, as they're down to about 5%?
Just live, pop your cooldowns, my goodness.
Absolutely, down to 5% of the boss. We're looking here. We've got lots of cooldowns popping out. Looks like the Mistweaver's fallen off the edge of the mountain. That's really, really bad. The tank is down to about 20% health. Let's see if they can do it. They've done it. They have successfully done it.
Right at the end. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
What
oh my goodness, this is wild. Absolutely perfect timing, but they're still on the boss. I apologize. There's about 20% left here. As obviously, the dismount has happened. Everyone is stabilized, though. Everything's okay as they're heading through here. 10% left on the boss, and I think they're okay.
But they had that really tiny intermission between the two bosses where they could get him up and make sure he took the aggro before he snapped onto anyone else. That was the perfect timing for that to happen.
Absolutely crazy play. Absolutely crazy play. And congratulations to Mandude for hitting that +6. Now, I do want to have a look at Roast. If we can have a look, we're down to about 9 minutes left. If we can pop over to Roast and see what they're up to.
I mean, I'd be really interested what this is. Surely this is a 3. If this isn't a 3,
we can't see. We can't see.
We just need confirmation of what they're running. But because at the minute we're just watching them run something, we'll try and find out what that is. For you guys watching at home. But for sure, it's not going to be a 6. If it is, it's very brave.
Yeah, very, very brave if it is a 6. And to be honest, they're running the Mistweaver, which I think is a mistake. Just switch over to Wim. Even if you've never played it before, just literally hit your head on the keyboard and just do as much as you can. Yeah.
It looks like they're running a 2.
Oh no.
Why are you running a 2? You're 3 points behind. Unless they think they can do a second one, but surely not.
Maybe not, but this is...
I mean, this is a huge mistake for them if they're running a 2. If they finish this in time,
they will kick themselves. They will.
You really kick yourself. If you finish this, if this is right and the rumors are true that this is a +2 and they're 3 points behind and they time it, you're really going to end up having some words with whoever made that decision.
I see. That's what our producer was telling us. It is a +2. Holy moly. Okay. Well,
because they were already in the lead, so why would you do it? Like, there was no sense in doing a +2. You either gamble on them not finishing it, or you gamble on them finishing a 6 and run a 3 or a 4. 2 is the worst of both worlds.
Absolute drama here, ladies and gentlemen. Look, this is interesting stuff. Maybe there's maybe some thought behind it, potentially, Code. Maybe they thought, hey, we can do 2 in 7 minutes.
I have absolutely no idea. Maybe they can do 2. I don't think they're going to be able to, though.
But hey, this is absolute cinema. You are watching the MDY, and of course they've got the affix, the blinding one, which is super like invasive even. It's crazy stuff as they head down the stairs here toward the next boss. I wonder if now, after running tournaments like this, these dungeons are going to like give them some sort of PTSD.
Quite possibly,
Yeah.
possibly, yeah. But also now, we're going to have the thing of, right, so Roast are going to come second. 25 points for Mandude, finishing that perfect timing. If you're ever going to die, that was the moment to die. And
Oh
what
my
a quick
goodness.
res as well. Straight in, took the aggro, finish off that boss. Roast, the max they can get if they finish a +2 is 24 points. Mandude on 25 means they're going to take home the victory unless something mental happens, which means now it's third place. Absolutely massive friends. Dirty Dave and the Muckers, Loud Duck Energy. From what I believe, and we're going to have confirmation of this very shortly. Absolutely Massive Friends still on a 10. Dirty Dave still on a 10. Loud Duck Energy on a 9 with 5 minutes left. Super close. Let's see who's running what.
Yeah, exactly. It's. Oh, I just wasn't expecting this, Go. I wasn't expecting this level of cinema leading up to the last section of the tournament here. This boss should be just a cakewalk for this team as they are running a +2. They should be able to complete it very, very quickly. But I don't know. I just really think they should have gone with the Windwalker, to be honest with you. But hey, you don't really prepare for these moments, do you, Ko? You don't really prepare for things coming down to the last 15 minutes.
No, absolutely not. But also, we have to remember these aren't players who are used to playing like competitive, really like streamed competitive gaming, right? So
yeah.
I mean, there's going to be mistakes that happen. They're not method, right, or whatever.
No,
every little thing worked out. You've got a team behind you who are going to tell you what to do as Cocoon comes on the priest again for the last time this evening.
For the last time, for sure.
We really want to go over to some of the third place teams, please, Mr. Producer, if we can have a look at what they're running and cycle through them and have a bit of drama, because I think the first and second place is very much over now. If we can have a look at what they are doing.
Absolutely. And that's one point to mention. We want to thank all the players. As you said, many of these people are not used to competitive stuff or running under pressure and all these sorts of things. So everyone's done an absolutely fantastic job bringing us really great entertainment this evening. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has been involved. But of course, the third place competition is still rife. Absolutely massive friends is still in the running. As well as Dirty Dave, right?
Yeah, apparently from what I can see, Dirty Dave and Absolutely Massive Friends both have 10 points. Loud Duck Energy has 9, but I believe Loud Duck Energy also running a 2 from what we saw before, gambling on the fact that the other two teams might fail, might not have enough time to finish. +2 might be easier to time with only 3.5 minutes left.
Absolutely crazy, as you pointed out completely. 3.5 minutes left, and the Duck Energy, I think they might have done something really smart here, because +2 of course is going to be a bit easier and they're going to run it faster. Maybe the other two just don't finish it in time.
We see absolutely I'll say massive nerds there for a second, maybe true, going for the skip, but they can't really see what they're skipping.
Oh no,
maybe they've made the wrong decision. They've got to all get up there, then someone's going to get in combat. Maybe this was a bad choice for them. They should have just gone straight for the combat. We'll see if they actually then try and do the skip and accidentally pull. Who knows? We need to actually get confirmation.
I think they got it. I think they're okay. I think they're just okay. I'm looking down here at Duck Energy, casually going through here, but of course time is ticking. And
oh, I'm back. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
It looked like they tried to do the skip and then had to go back, not do the skip, and actually pick up those ads as well.
Yes, so it's super tight. Absolutely massive friends though. I think they'll be able to do it in time. But we're looking at 3 minutes here, Ko. Really close. We're not quite sure if they're going to be able to finish it in time, but we're staring intently at the screen as Duck Energy are heading through to the next part. They have the tentacles. They have the tentacle affix, which I think is probably best. If you've got that blinding affix for your last dungeon, I think that's where nerves could really come in, right? And it really could be dangerous for you.
Absolutely. I mean, it does look like absolutely massive. Friends are going to finish this with 2 minutes left. We really want to have a look at what Dirty Dave is doing. If we can have a look at him
Yeah, there
and
we are,
see
top left
and see
corner,
what they're
Dirty
doing.
Dave. They're on a 4-5 deaths. They've got 2 minutes left, and the blindfold is just
It looks like
absolutely destroying them.
it looks like they must have wiped.
Yeah.
They must have wiped. If they're on a +4, they probably went for it because they're right at the beginning. Like there's 24 minutes left. They've 2 bosses left. They're not going to finish this. So it's down then to Loud Duck Energy and absolutely massive friends to see who can take third space.
You're completely right. Loud Duck Energy and absolutely massive friends. They are really, really cutting on the edge, though. We've got 2 minutes left, and the boss is down to about 45% HP over there on AMF. And to be honest, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to truly complete it. Look at the room. The room is absolutely disgusting. Let's see if they find a space to be able to stand and get through.
Luckily, phased at the right time as well.
Yep, absolute luck there. Absolute luck as it did phase. And yeah, we're looking very closely at them here. They're able to clean the room a little bit, and the boss is down to around about 35% HP, but the timer is ticking. We've got 1 minute left on the timer. This is the difference between third and fourth, potentially. So they are fighting as much as they can, tooth and nail. Hey, let's have a look here and see if they can pump out. I'm sure if they can get into the execute range, that last 10%, they'll be able to do a lot of damage as they've got that Windwalker to be able to smash that button as fast as they can. It looks like they might be able to do it. They put it in the corner.
Though.
Oh my goodness, this is super, super close. We're down to about 5% HP. Let's see if they can finish it off. They are doing as much as they can, hitting the head against the boss. We have probably about 30 seconds, and they've done it. They've actually done it, Co.
We need to have a. I think it's got to be them then. There's no one else it can be. There's no way anyone else is going to even have the time. Loud Duck Energy, even if they finish a 2, they're not going to be able to do it. Dirty Dave, as we saw, he's on a +4. Then there's 2 bosses left. There's no way that's done. So it must really be all of our places and have been decided.
And that is it. That is it. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone, we have come to the end of the competition. We've come to the end of the runs today. And holy moly, Co. Holy moly.
What a run.
What a run. What a run. Maybe if we bring it back to us, we'll have a little bit of a breakdown here. Maybe even bring someone in for a talk. Holy moly. What do you think about that?
That was amazing. That was genuinely a fantastic evening. I enjoyed every single bit of that. There was so much drama to get right at the end as well, having the healer knocked off, tank go down, get the res, managing to do both. Apparently, I'm seeing echo in chat. I'll get closer to my microphone in case that was me. And then you obviously had the bad decision by Roast to run a 2 and not a 3. That could have really made the difference. If they were super quick, they went maybe just for spamming the key to lower it down and went too far. And then right at the end, 30 seconds left, absolutely massive friends doing a 2. Perfect decision for them. +3, they wouldn't have timed it most likely.
Yep. Absolute cinema here tonight for the MDY. If there is anyone from the winning team, which of course is Mandude, if anyone from the winning team would like to come and have a little chat, do let our producer Jay know and we'll get you in. If not, that's absolutely fine. We just really have appreciated this evening. Such great play across the board. Of course, thank you to our partners, Blizzard, Zygor. We really do appreciate all the wonderful gifts. Maybe we can have a look at that first and second place prize just to let all the audience know what has been won today. Oh my goodness. So third, load of goodies, the War Within Heroic, Cataclysm, and then second place again, loads of goodies, but that epic edition upgrade. But first place, let's head over to the first place. We have War Within, epic, Cataclysm, epic, goodies from Blizzard, incredible canvas to pop on your wall, and that 6 months elite Zygor full of guides, gold, leveling, dungeon stuff, loads of cool things. And hey, each player has won that. Absolutely insane stuff. I agree. We had over in chat. They wouldn't be able to do it anyway. They did try. But yeah, I want to thank again Raider.io for also supporting Safe in Our World, our charity sponsor as well, that we are supporting. NordVPN, Glitch, Streamlabs, and Gamer Advantage. Holy moly. What an evening, Co.
Yeah, we've got really tense at the end there. I wasn't
Yeah.
quite sure if Mandude was going to do it, but they really did manage to pull through right at the end. I
Yep.
was really, really, really feeling bad for them when they got knocked
Ye-
off the edge. I was like, oh no, right at the end. We were just saying how they're going to take it slow. You've got time.
Yeah.
Just make sure you finish this one. And then they almost didn't right at the end. It's the pressure getting to you. Like, you know what's on offer. You probably think at the beginning, yeah, it's a bit of the fun. It's a community event. But then you get right to the end, you think,
Yeah.
those prizes are there for me.
Exactly. Now, I haven't heard from anyone from Mandude, so we may hear from them maybe on the Discord at another point, but I just want to confirm first place is Mandude, second place is Roast, ROAST, and third place is Absolutely Massive Friends. Oh my goodness, this has been a wonderful evening. Not only has it been a wonderful evening with our contestants, but also with you, Ko. It's been a nice...
Oh, I feel that this is
Wonderful.
where I get set up. This is the moment I get set up, isn't it? It's been coming. I've been told it's coming.
This is where I confess my love for you. I think that's what it is. But no. Any last words, Ko, before we end this evening?
Well, apparently we do have someone who wants to talk from the winning team, so
Oh,
maybe
oh,
we can
yes.
pull them in. But in terms of words from me, that was just a fantastic event. Just reiterate, if you want to join us on the Discord, I'm sure you can find the socials in and around the stream chat down below. Thank you to our partners. Thank you for the donations and the followers and the likes and all of this throughout the event. And hello, Dex.
Hello, Dex. Hello. Tell us about your feelings. How are you feeling right now after such a close ending?
Pretty good, honestly. I am really proud of my team. They did an amazing job with the call out. Like, I kept giving them call outs and they were really doing everything well. We did mess up a few times, but hey, shit happens, you know.
How did you feel right at the end when your healer got knocked off the edge and it was on the last boss and you had to do it?
I'll be honest with you, we were just laughing. we saw him fall off and we were just laughing at him, but hey, he did good job. He did a really good job and we res him and clutched it.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of clutch play throughout that. It was a long sort of stint as well. Lots of dungeons back to back to back. How did you sort of prepare, or are you just ready for this sort of endurance race almost to stay focused the whole time?
No, we came in here to have fun, honestly. We weren't like really focused on winning, but it happened, I guess. Even with the keys, we got basically just duplicates. We kept getting the same thing, which was fine, I guess, because we knew the tactics earlier and we just did the same thing. That kind of pushed us pretty forward with the points.
Cool. And last question from me. With your prizes, what are you going to do with them? You've got like loads of Blizzard goodies and like wall art and of course the game and stuff like that. Where are you going to put your canvas art? That's what I want to know.
Probably in front of my PC setup, because I have like a wall in front of like above my monitors. So it would be a good place for that.
Awesome. Ko, any last questions?
No, just I hope you enjoy your prizes, and no, it was good tanking, and
thank you.
Hopefully you can carry me through some keys later in the season.
Hell yeah,
Thank you, Detrix. We really appreciate you, and congratulations again.
Thank you everyone.
Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, we really do appreciate your time here this evening. This has been MDY, the Starship Mythic Dungeon Tournament. Thank you again to all our sponsors and partners. It has been a wonderful roller coaster. And until next time, I'm Matty. That's Ko. This way?
Yeah, this way. Yeah.
And we've been Starship. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
The Starship World of Warcraft community is proudly supported by Blizzard Entertainment, Zygor Guides, Gamer Advantage, NordVPN, Glitch Energy, Streamlabs, and is proud to support our partnered charity, Safe in Our World.
level your characters, make lots of gold, and accomplish more in World of Warcraft with Zygor Guides. Our guides are unique in that they use a custom guide viewer add-on to display things right inside the game. Every guide is presented in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step format that tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, which quests to accept, how to complete quest objectives, and more, all in the most efficient manner to get more done in less time. Since the guides are in-game, they can dynamically detect your progress, update in real time, and automatically skip forward as you complete steps. Finding your way around couldn't be easier thanks to our custom waypoint arrow that works like an in-game GPS, generating the fastest directions to your next location, factoring in every method of travel including flight paths, items, portals, and more. You'll no longer find yourself wondering where to go or what to do next ever again. The guides also include numerous additional features to speed things up even more, like auto-accepting and turning in quests, highlighting the best quest rewards, notifying you when you have new gear upgrades, pointing where you need to fly to on your map, auto-selling gray items, and more. We offer guides for virtually every aspect of the game, including leveling, dungeons, dailies, professions, collectibles, and achievements. Discover all the latest content with our new Featured section, which showcases all the new guides added in every patch and expansion with detailed explanations on how it all works. Or search our entire collection to find a guide for almost anything you want to do. All of our guides have been fully updated for Dragonflight, and new content is being added all the time. Sign up for Zygor Elite and gain instant access to our full suite of guides for both retail and classic WoW for one low monthly fee. As part of Zygor Elite, you'll receive ongoing weekly updates for new patches, future expansions, and seasonal events, as well as general fixes and improvements to make sure all content stays current and well optimized for any changes Blizzard makes. Take your gaming to the next level with Zygor Guides.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's fly, let's fly. Pack up, let's fly away.
Who took the bomb?
See you later.
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow.